Well, fireworks have gone off, and maybe there will be goals and fireworks in this one tonight as the two teams take to the field ahead of a huge Premier League encounter. It's live and only on Talksport. 1 win in 9 in the Premier League for Bournemouth, 5 defeats and no wins in 7, all competitions for Luton. Both will see this as a chance to get a rare win. Bournemouth take on Luton. It's not on your telly, but it is live and exclusive here on Talksport with former Premier League defender Scott Minto alongside Sam Matterface.
Thanks, Adrian. Good evening, everyone. Right now, the Hatters Premier League predicament doesn't look perfect, but Luton can follow the latest trend by putting 3 points on the board tonight and altering the picture. A win over Bournemouth would move things around a bit, and the outlines of a survival bid would start to come into focus. But Luton's isn't the only lens from which to view this game. Bournemouth may have struggled to scrub out Sheffield United at the weekend, but they offer a powerful image of what is possible after promotion. They are 8 points better off than last year, scored more goals than last year, and are in zero danger of being exposed to relegation. It adds a different perspective to what originally looked like a baffling decision to bring in Andoni Iraola in place of Gary O'Neill. It's a situation that has developed well for both in the end. As we know, though, you can't always take things at face value these days, can you? Tomorrow, back-to-back Europa League games that are essential listening. West Ham at home to Freiburg, then Villa against Ajax, and the weekend is packed and stacked with football, including all 4 FA Cup quarter-finals. And that includes exclusive coverage of Manchester United against Liverpool, only here live on national radio. Bournemouth have got Neto in goal, wearing black shirts with red stripes and black shorts. They've got Smith at right back, Mepham, Zabanyi and Ouattara across the back line. Christian Cook holding with Scott in the number 10 position. Semenyo will play on the right, Sinisterra from the left, and Dominic Solanke looking to add to his 16 goals this season. He scored in the abandoned game here and in the previous 2 at this stadium against Luton Town. Who start with Kaminski in goal, a back 3 of Burke, Mengi and Hashioka. Kabore right wing back, Doughty left wing back. Watch out for his dangerous crosses. Barkley and Clark in the centre of midfield, with Ogbeni on the right, Chong on the left, and Carlton Morris through the middle. Once got a very late winner here against Bournemouth for Barnsley 3 years ago. Right now, we're dragging you out of your seat, placing you into the confines of the Vitality Stadium. A tight arena, 4 independent, 1-tiered stands, a mile from the beach on a mild but drizzly night in Dorset. FA Cup winner Scott Minto is here. Never one in need of airbrushing. Sketch out what happens tonight.
Well, do you know what? This is a really difficult one to call, because there's no doubt about it, this is a bigger game for Luton than it is for Bournemouth. But Bournemouth haven't been playing well at home. They haven't got enough points at home, and they do need to be doing better. You have to say that. But, you know, Luton, look, they've got injuries. They're not fully fit, of course, either up front or at the back, but they will be up for this mentally. There's no doubt about that. They
start the game all in white tonight, attacking the goal away to our left-hand side and the Steve Fletcher stand. And the ball immediately goes upfield and then is squeezed out over on the far touchline. A win for Bournemouth takes them level with Fulham. A win for Luton in any guise takes them above Nottingham Forest and out of the relegation zone on goals scored. Bournemouth taken 4 points in their last 2 matches against Burnley and Sheffield United, the Premier League's basement dwellers. But before that, they were on a 6-game winless run. Throw in far side, Kabore to take it. Launched it down the touchline, flicked on by Carlton Morris, the big burly centre-half, looking for Ogbeni to join, and it's away by Mepham and upfield towards the halfway line. Kabore turns it back round the corner, and then Christie comes across, blocks the effort. It goes out of play and away for a throw-in down that right-hand side.
Yeah, they may have been winless in those games, Sam, but there's no doubt about it that they've been wanting 9 points out of 9 out of playing the bottom 3, and I think it was really disappointing only to come away with a point. And you could say they got away with it in the end with the late equaliser, but they certainly created enough chances to go on and win the game.
And Bournemouth had the 16th best home record in the Premier League, but in that recent game with Sheffield United that Scott is talking about, they had more shots than Ray Parlour's had at Cheltenham this week.
I don't know.
32 shots,
yeah.
12 on target. The problem is that they missed all their targets. He always hits his.
Yeah.
Here is Mengi trying to get out into the left full-back position, takes it towards the touchline. He looks up and plays it long up towards Morris, who's on the chase here. Across comes Meppen to get in front of him and see it back to his goalkeeper Neto, the captain. And then he plays it out into the right full-back area. And Zabanyi, the Ukrainian centre-half, who has been impressive for Bournemouth, most blocks and clearances for them this season. Was acquired for 24 million in the January transfer window of last campaign. And it's out of play over on the far side.
You know, we were talking about Hashioka as well, weren't we? And how I feel he should be pulling Alfie Doughty in. Just as that ball was on the left-hand side of Bournemouth, there was a big gap between him and Alfie Doughty. And, you know, if I'm Semenyo, I'm absolutely screaming at my players and beforehand saying, you get the ball to me as much as possible and try and see if I can get at him one-on-one and see if he's comfortable playing in a position that he's just not used to, as well as playing in a Premier League match, which he hasn't played in many.
Jordan Clark's just gone sliding over to the far side, and he sort of bent back and hyperextended his ankle, I think, over on the far side. He's back and moving again now. And the central midfield player playing alongside Ross Barkley tonight. Here is Reece Burt bringing the ball out of defence, up to halfway, tucked round the corner by Morris into the right wing position for Kabore to start scampering forward. He's watched over on that far side by Sinistera. Goes back in field to Morris, who with a charging run tries to drive through the middle of the Bournemouth half. He's stopped in the end by a collection of black and red jerseys, but Mengi's just dipped in front of Solanke and won the ball and tried to get them on the front foot. A high turnover from them, but it's Bournemouth who are dominating possession at Luton who are dominating possession at this moment in time. It's just been pinched by Sinistera though, as Ogbenny tried to come forward, and it's quickly switched out towards this near side, the right, and Semenya tries to turn and run at Hashioka, who looks to try and funnel him down the outside. Semenya keeps hold of it, sends it back infield, and then Cook nudges it forward into the path of Semenya once again. Smith back to Semenya down the right side. Doughty's gone with him. He's by the corner flag and then chops back in left-footed with a cross in towards Solanke with a header off target. And maybe just a tad behind him, but he got up above Burke and sent it goalwards, but it was well wide in the end. That was your first little look at Semenyo up against Hashioka. What was your verdict?
Yeah, look, you could see what Bournemouth are trying to do is a really good crossfield pass straight to Semenyo, and then what you also saw was Luton making sure there wasn't just two but three players around Semenya as well to help out Hashioka. So I think there's certainly something which Bournemouth know about, where they want to try and exploit, but also where Luton want to try and help the new boy out.
Here is Zabanyi in the centre circle. Rob Edwards, who's very quickly trying to encourage his team to get up the pitch. Sees the ball go out wide towards the left, collected by Sinistera, who jinks his way to the edge of the area, produces a nice ball out to the right side. Here's Adam Smith with the delivery into the box, and it's flicked away by Teran Mengi and out towards the far side. The 200th Premier League career appearance today for Adam Smith, who is one of the very few remnants of the 2014-15 promotion campaign from the Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he would have seen it all, wouldn't he? And certainly they've got the chance of the highest ever Premier League finish, and he wants to be part of a team that does that. But they've got to sort out their home form, and they should be winning games against teams that are sitting in the drop zone. As we know, it's not that easy.
It's never as simple as it looks on paper. Here's Hashioka over the halfway line. He plays it out towards the Luton left, midway point of the Bournemouth half. Doughty tries to send it down into the path of Chong. It goes through the legs of Barkley as he just sort of hesitantly approached that ball, and Semenyo comes away with it and sends it long out towards his right-hand side. That's a little bit too much of Dominic Solanke, who's running down this right-hand side, and goes out of play and away for a throw-in to Luton Town, who know that every point counts at this stage of the season. They are missing their top scorer, Elijah Adebayo. They're also missing Gabe Osho, who's been particularly good for them, and Amari Bell as well, who's not available tonight. So it is a rejigged back line for Rob Edwards. Doughty sends the throw-in down the touchline. Not reached by Morris, but picked up by Chong, who dances his way through a couple of challenges. Then there's a very strong one from Mepham to turn it over for Bournemouth. Flicked into the air by Solanke. Across on the edge of the Luton penalty area. Mengi heads it out towards this near side. It's good football by Luton just to keep hold of it. And they have possession on the edge of their own box once again.
Yeah, well defended by Luton, wasn't it? First of all, Mengi, then Hashioka playing it to Alfie Doughty, played it back to Mengi first time, and just created that little bit of time on the ball then, which is, you know, what they need. But you're right, though, the first few minutes of the game, I think Luton were the ones who are a little bit more on top, certainly in terms of possession, but neither team really had a go at the goalkeeper just yet.
Interesting when Adrian raised the point. What is the difference? What is it that Luton have got that Burnley and Sheffield United have lacked this season? Well, yesterday Rob Edwards was talking about that sense of togetherness, but one of the quotes in the press conference that stuck with me was the fact that he said, I think the other teams are under more pressure to beat us, so we can be the underdogs, and they've sort of harnessed that spirit.
Yeah, I think so. I think certainly when Burnley went up and the way they played last season and the points total, that everyone thought, you know what, I think they're going to be safe and not even going to have much of a problem. And they brought in too many players. It hasn't worked for Vincent Kompany, of that there's no doubt. Sheffield United, we know, really it's been very difficult for Chris Wilder to come in and turn things around. But Luton always knew what was going to happen. So, you know, they're very much the underdog. Ironically, when they played Sheffield United, they were the favourites of that game. And then what happened? Sheffield United did a job on them.
They certainly did. Bournemouth 0, Luton Town 0, 7.5 minutes played on Talksport. Been a belting day at Cheltenham again today. And the boys will be back in the morning from 6 o'clock, bringing you all the build-up to day 3 of the festival. And we'll have more commentaries again with Rupert and Lizzie throughout the course of the afternoon with H&J. Ball on the left with Solanke, trying to turn down deep inside Luton territory. Finds Christie, who sends it across the 18-yard box to Smith, who loses out initially, and then the ball's turned over quickly. Chong trying to keep hold of it despite pressure from Cook. Sam Allison is the referee today. He says play on. Christie jinks past the challenge of Hashioka, tries to bend it into the far corner with a left-footed shot. Maybe he should have taken that on his right, and because he came infield and went on that left foot, it was blocked just inside the box, and Luton survived. But there was a lovely bit of footwork to take on Hashioka, and he beat them all ends up. Benny at the other end, taking on Dango Ouattara. He then helps it out towards the right side where it's collected by Kabore. Kabore down by the byline, sets it back for Clark, who chips it into the box, and it comes to Chong, who's arriving and nods it home. Tahith Chong ghosting in between the right back and centre half, Chris Mepham, to nudge the ball in after good work down the right hand side from first Kabore and then from Jordan Clark, who clipped it to the far post. And it was headed home for Tahith Chong, who gets his 4th goal of the season. And it's a goal that nudges Luton Town into the lead. It's Bournemouth 0, Luton 1.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? Just 30 seconds before Bournemouth went down their end and looked like they could possibly get that opening goal. What happens? Luton counter-attack down the right. I just laid it ball back. It's a really good ball in from Clark. You have to say, little dink. And how on earth has Chong found that amount of space in the 6-yard box with no one near him within 2 to 3 yards? You know, I have to say, Neto, there's question marks against him about his Bournemouth career going forward maybe, and he certainly didn't have a good game at the weekend, but no one can complain with him there. On earth, Chong, literally 2-3 yards on his own. I think even me and you, Sam, could have headed that in the back of the net.
He's a little bit taller than us too.
We still could have jumped.
But it was, do you know what? I think he's a good little player, actually, Tahith Chong. He scored against Liverpool earlier in the season, a really important goal that put them in front in the first game between those two. He scored in the 3rd round replay with Bolton. He spent most of the season coming off the bench, but he's earned himself a few starts recently. This is his 5th start in a row, which is the best ever of his Premier League career. He's
not known for his heading, is he? He's got a great left foot. He's very skillful indeed. He's not known for his heading, and the fact that he had so much space in there, you know, that was just a simple header. It was a wonderful ball in, but what on earth are the Bournemouth defenders thinking?
Semenyo down the right side, looking to respond for Bournemouth. And across comes the defender Hashioka. Tries to push him in field, then played forward by Ryan Christie. He'll be ruining the opportunity that he had just prior to that counter-attack, and it's into the arms of Kaminsky away to our right. Score is Bournemouth 0, Luton 1 on Talksport with Now. And don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action contract-free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports.
So at this moment in time, Luton are out of the drop zone.
They are out of the drop zone, and it's quite a good week for them, really, because if they were to take this opportunity with both hands and then beat Nottingham Forest at the weekend, then they'll be in a cracking little position, wouldn't they? They'd be 3 points clear of the bottom 3 going into that international break.
If they get 6 points out of 6, then they've got every chance of getting out of it. But if they don't, Sam, and I think they need 4 at least out of 6, because if you think of the games they've got coming up, they've got Spurs away, Arsenal away, Man City away, 3 of the 4 games, including Bournemouth as well. post-international break. They're not going to pick up many points there, so I do think these next two are absolutely crucial for them.
And we've been trying to entice Adrian Durham to come to Manchester with us on Saturday night, but he wants to go to Luton versus Nottingham Forest with the Moose.
Is he coming to Chelsea Leicester on Sunday?
No, he's staying up for Manchester United and Liverpool.
He's big time, isn't he?
I wanted to take him out on the town, but he's not having it. Here is Barkley over the halfway line. Out towards the right-hand side, it's Kabore. He's made a good run, but they delayed the pass out to him. They've eventually found him now. Right side of the area, tries to take on Ouattara, gets to the byline, produces a cross. Morris gets across and tries to head the ball goalwards, but Mepham stuck with his task this time and managed to divert it behind and away from a corner.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're getting down the right-hand side, Luton, aren't they? Whether it's Albeni, whether it's Kabore, whether it's Clark. I have to say, overload down that side. There's a ball coming in, and Mepham does really well, actually, just getting in front of Carlton Morris. That's really good defending.
Bournemouth 0, Luton 1, live on Talksport tonight. And we're down on the south coast. It's quite a still evening down by Boscombe Beach. That's not too far away from us here.
I think it's spring-like.
Do you? I've got my gloves on. Ball towards the far post, headed away by Dango Ouattara, out towards this near side where it's collected by Ogbeni. Ogbeni trying to turn and fires it back infield, where they'll be helped back by Kabore all the way to his goalkeeper Kaminski, who's come well out of his goal, and it was pressurised there by Alex Scott. And as he tried to chip it down the right touchline, and Scott almost got something on that. Ball back towards the left, and Neto, now the goalkeeper for Bournemouth, has it deep inside their own half. I mentioned those shots that Bournemouth had at the weekend, 32 of them, 12 on target. They only scored 2 goals from an XG of 3.35. I mean, if you watched it back, it's terrific fun, the game. But I think they would have been, as you said, incredibly disappointed not to get something from that. But if they weren't to get anything from this as well, I'm sure Iriola would be pretty annoyed. Here on the left-hand side, Sinistera trying to get to the edge of the box. He weaves one way, then the other, then goes on the outside, gets to the byline, produces a cross, blocked by Kabore, and it's out for a corner and away over on the far side for a Bournemouth set piece. Still 1-0 to Luton.
Yeah, I spoke to Alex Crook, who was here at the weekend. His first thing he said to me was it was a mental game. And I wouldn't mind another mental game tonight, to be honest with you, going back and forth and lots of chances from both sides. You have to say Bournemouth, just their pride at home, can't drop 3 more points. So they will be going at Luton, but there will be space to counter-attack for Luton, which is exactly what they want to do.
This is Alex Scott with a corner over on the far side, right-footed in towards the near post, away by Kabore, read it brilliantly, stooped and headed the ball from the edge of the 6-yard box. It wasn't a great delivery, that, from Alex Scott, and it was easily repelled by the Luton defence. Bournemouth have failed to score in 4 of their last 6 Premier League home games. Do that tonight, they'll lose. Here's Zabani, out to the left-hand side. Collected by Cook, forward to Alex Scott, who just wanders back, socks rolled down just above his sort of ankle, mid-shin like, not pulled up right to the very max like Dominic Solanke's, is almost up above his knee. Hashioka has been caught in a collision with Semenyo, and it's going to be just a pause in play for Sam Allison just to have a quick sort of judgment call on Hashioka's progress. Rob Edwards down on the touchline, just having a quick word with Alfie Doughty, actually, and we haven't seen too much of Alfie Doughty, and usually he's the big danger man.
Do you know what he is? But they're already 1-0 up now, Sam, and we talked about Hashioka as well, who is playing in a position he's not normally used to. It may be one of those nights where Alfie Doughty just has to sacrifice him a little bit going forwards and just protect his centre half. They're 1-0 up at the moment. Obviously, I'm not suggesting to just sit back and say, right, come and break us down, because they probably will. But there's no doubt about it, Alfie has a lot to do defensively tonight.
Well, Luton have lost only 1 of their last 5 Premier League away games, and that was against Liverpool. Here they're defending, though. Sinistera down the left, charged into the box, a low ball in towards the near post. It's stopped by Kaminski. A good save by his feet. Back down the left it goes with Ouattara. He's chopped back in onto his right foot and then tried to find the far corner. And then he unleashed the effort. It just got too much air on it. Went over the top of the crossbar and out. But Kaminski with a sensible save there, down in front of his right post. He has made the 4th most saves in the Premier League this season, Thomas Kaminski. He's been a reliable servant for Luton Town since signing from Blackburn Rovers. And that was a good opportunity for Sinistera. He just tried to drive that one in.
The angle's too tight. And there was Alex Scott, who was just ready for the cutback. And if he was able to get it to him, then I think he would have had much more of a chance of scoring.
Morris keeps it in over on the far side and keeps Luton in possession just before the halfway line. Mengi comes forward, chased by Solanke. They will press you high, Bournemouth. They love to turn the ball over in the opponent's half and attack you that way. It's not as easy if you've got more of the ball than the opposition, which is why at home their record probably isn't as good as it is away from home. Here is Ryan Christie charging down the right, playing a give and go with Semenyo. A little bit heavy from Semenyo, and Mengi comes across, puts it straight out of play and away for a throw on this near touchline.
Not a good ball from Alfie Doughty, though. He's almost a hospital ball for Ross Barkley, who's not able to ride the challenge, and then Bournemouth are on the counter-attack. Luton defending well, Mengi coming across well, reading the situation, but can't afford to give away easy ball like that.
We're underway in Scotland tonight in the 7:45 kickoffs. Dundee against Aberdeen. Peter Levin in charge after Neil Warnock left the club at the weekend. Ross County against Hibernian also underway. 8 o'clock tonight, Peterborough against Stevenage in League One. I'm told that should just be a home win. Stevenage apparently just a minor inconvenience.
Who told you that?
I don't know, I can't remember. I was having a conversation with someone earlier about it. Here is Ross Barkley. Over on Talksport 2 tonight, we've got Dortmund against PSV. It starts at 8 o'clock, and we'll keep you in touch with Atletico Madrid against Inter.
Those posh fans.
Ball turned over by Alex Scott, sent down the right into Semenyo, gets to the edge of the penalty area, tries to go on the outside, doesn't stop the ball, just keeps it rolling and then goes towards the edge of the box after coming inside past Hashioka, but Clark picked it off and then sent it out towards the right. And here's the speedy Chidozie Ogbene, who opens up his legs and darts forward at a rapid pace. He gets up to within 5 yards of the edge of the area, leaves it for Morris. It's sent back down the right. Kabore trying to keep it in, just about does that, and then tries to turn in Phil, but runs into danger. Then there's a scrap between him and Ouattara, and then the foul eventually is given after Kabore decides that he gets into a bit of a tango with Dango.
Yeah. Look, I mean, what I would say is we've been talking about maybe Semenyo having a go at Hashioka, but, you know, on the other side, the opposite side, Ouattara's not a left back.
No.
Defensively, he's been got at a couple of times, and that's where the goal came from as well. I'm not necessarily just blaming him, but sometimes if you're not that sort of left back, you've got to be able to organise as well and see what's happening in front of you.
Are you trying to tell me that not everyone can be a left back?
Not everyone can be a left back. Only you and I, Sam.
And Piercy. Don't leave him out.
Of course.
It's
he
interesting.
can be anything he wants to be, Piercy.
It is interesting, though, isn't it? You know, the fact that they put Ouattara in there when Kirkesh is available, he's on the bench tonight.
Yeah, look, he didn't have the best of games at the weekend.
That's true.
But still, you know, I think it's, should we say,
it's an underplayed position.
Underplayed the position, certainly from a defensive point of view. And I do think, you know, that's where the goals come from, and the early chances from Luton came from the right-hand side.
Morris, lovely turn away from Mepham, tries to feed Chidozie Ogbene through the centre, but Zabani just stepped across him and allowed the ball to go back towards the goalkeeper, Kaminski. Ball turned out over on the far side, and then Ouattara's fed Sinisterra. Kabore's gone missing, and Sinisterra's in the box now. It's blocked brilliantly by Reece Burke, who read that, bided his time, didn't dive in, and stopped him from progressing any further with a block.
Sam, that's brilliant defending. It really is, when you've got a winger inside the box running at you at pace.
Ouattara up to Semenyo, edge of the D, tries to get beyond Clark. He's got space out wide. He gets the 1-2. Semenyo with a chance to cross. Solanke coming into the edge of the 6-yard box. Hashioka stepped across him, and it's cleared away by Doughty, and it's out towards the near side. But Bournemouth putting a bit of pressure on here, winning the ball back high inside Luton territory. 1-0 the score in Luton's favour. We play 21 minutes on Talksport tonight. It's helped forward in towards the path of Sinisterra, and then Zabani's got it now. Latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Bournemouth to win at 5-4, Luton to win at 9-5, and the draw 5-2. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+ begambleaware.org. Crikey. So Luton in front, but yet very much second favourites.
Wow.
Clark into Barkley, trying to turn on halfway. He shrugs off the challenge of Christie, and then it's played out towards the far side of the ground, where Kabore is waiting. His shirt very tight to his immense shoulders. He helps it on into Ogbeni, who gets down the right-hand side. A lovely cross into the box, which may be just a little bit too deep for Chong, but Doughty is coming in to try and retrieve it. Smith manages to get there first, gets it clear to Semenya, who rolls past Hashioko and then sends Smith away. Smith didn't have the pace to beat Doughty, who plays it out of the perimeter of the playing surface on this near side. It goes out for a throw to Bournemouth. It's good fun.
Really good fun. Really good game. Two teams going at it. Bournemouth obviously with their pride dented right now, 1-0 down at home. But Luton still trying to play their kind of direct, aggressive way as well. You know, and you've got on both sides, both wings, trying to go at their centre-halves or full-backs as well. And I'm telling you now, Ouattara is not a full-back. His body shape as Ogbeni is running at him, he's too sort of straight on.
Well, he isn't, is he? I mean, he's a winger.
Well,
really.
Absolutely. You know, and all Ogbeni needs to do, especially with the pace that he's got, despite Ouattara being quick, just needs to just drop his shoulder a little bit, knock it past him, and there's no way that he's going to turn around and catch him.
He has done it before, played in that left full-back position, but it's not something that he's made a habit of doing.
He came on at the weekend and did really well in that position, but it was almost like two left wingers.
But they weren't really playing with a left-back, were they? I mean, they were going for it hell for leather. This is a slightly different scenario, and a longer period as well. We've played just a quarter of the match, and it's Semenyo down the right side now. Tries to nudge it back into the path of Adam Smith. Smith to Chris Mepham on halfway, who takes a couple of steps forward, looks up, threatened to release the ball forward, and sent wide out towards the far touchline. Sinisterra is beaten in the air by Ogbeni, and then he tries to prod it forward and comes back to him sort of almost fortuitously, and then he sort of almost passed to himself. He's got the ability to do that, because I'll tell you what, if the Premier League was putting together a sprint relay team, he would be in it, no question. Second fastest player in the Premier League behind Mickey van der Ven. Here is Scott moving the ball up towards the edge of the penalty area, feeds it to Sinisterra, comes in on his right foot, tries to get the shot down low to the right, goalkeeper drops on it, makes a good save, Kaminski. And it was an effort really that maybe Sinisterra feels he should have done better with, because he's holding his head's just one of them, as he walks away from that opportunity, and it remains 1-0 to Luton.
Yeah, I mean, look, once you're inside the penalty box and you're able to come onto your right side, you're right-footed, so on your best foot and the goal is opened up, you have to shoot better than that. Sometimes you say hit the target. That is something where you've got to be aiming for the sort of inside side netting.
It's not the first time though that Bournemouth have got a few attacks on the high turnover. We mentioned that that's a sort of modus operandi of the Iraola team. It was certainly the way they operated when he was in charge of Rayo Vallecano in Spain last year and before that, and it was a helpful tactic en route to success in the Copa del Rey a couple of years ago, and they went very deep in that competition. But
only Spurs have more goals from a high turnover in the whole of the Premier League, so that tells you exactly, you know, the style that Iraola wants.
Yeah, Luton keep getting picked off trying to play out from the back. Not that they are afraid to go a little bit longer. They play the most balls long from the back to front in the Premier League. They sometimes will play out. They are unashamedly prepared to mix it up. And they do have a ruthlessness in front of goal, actually, Luton Town. They have the highest big chance conversion rate in the Premier League this season, which tells you something about the quality of their strike force, really, doesn't it?
Do you know what that does? Because how many teams, not just in the bottom bit, and we talk about Everton, how well they've been playing but not been able to score goals.
Oh, Kaminski almost got caught by Solanke inside the area. I know what you're going to say.
But in the top half as well, creating lots of chances and haven't got a player to stick the ball in the back of the net.
Absolutely. And you've got Adebayo and Morris, who are thumping in the very few chances, actually, in comparison to those clubs that they get at Luton.
It would be interesting, and I'd love to see Luton stay up, but if they were to go down, how many of these Luton players have proven themselves that they are worthy of being in the Premier League? Well, they snatched from other clubs.
They certainly work very hard, don't they? And they've assimilated better than the other two that have come up this season. Ball sent long down the right, looking for Carlton Morris from Kaminski, who has played the most long passes into the final third for Luton this season, which sort of gives you an indication of their approach.
They have to. You know, and to be fair, they're not just a long ball side, but they have to play to their strengths and minimise mistakes.
That's the key thing, isn't it? They're efficient. Here is Solanke moving the ball down the right-hand side, joining his Scott, gets to the edge of the area, tries to twinkle his way inside the box. It comes out to Christie. Christie tries to feed it down to Semenyo, then changes his mind, comes in, tries to twirl away to get it on his left, but that's blocked by Burke and bounces out into the far corner of the field, where it's recovered now by a combination of first Ouattara, then Sinistera, then back to Zabarnyi, who's encouraged to shoot. Never scored for Bournemouth, Zabarnyi. And it's sent eventually by Lewis Cook towards the far edge of the area. Goes out again on that left-hand side. Ouattara picks out across. Solanke coming in the far post. Mengi read it and prodded it clear with his head. And then Hashioka with a swiping left foot puts it out of play on this near side. And it's still Bournemouth 0, Luton 1 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. Quick throw taken by Bournemouth, who are on the attack again. Moving towards the right as we look at it. Christie into Zabarnyi, and he's back on halfway.
Alan Pardew has an Enterprise card, doesn't he?
Yes, he told me that the weekend. Yes, you did.
Saturday lunchtime.
You're such a loyal Talksport listener.
I love listening to you.
Here is Scott down the left-hand side, trying to find Ouattara. Seen out of play by Ogbeni, who gets a cheer from the Luton fans who have made the journey over on the far side. They're squeezed into one corner of the stand opposite us.
You know what, they'll be absolutely delighted, and so will Rob Edwards as well, with it, just coming up to the half-hour mark to see that they're, it's not even the fact that they're 1-0 up, but I think, yes, Bournemouth, you'd expect them with the pace that they've got, and we talked about the high turnovers and how they want to try and press as much as possible. I think they defended really well. Mengi has been superb. I mean, Hashioka's done really well in his position. Looks very comfortable when he's on the ball. Rhys Burke has made some really important tackles, and they've been protected with the midfield in front. But Mengi, I think, is marshalling his defence brilliantly.
Yep, they conceded far too many opportunities, I thought, in the game against Palace at the weekend. They needed a late Corley Woodrow goal to grab a point. They're on a run of 7 without a win, but they lead here by a goal to 0.
Sam, they were lucky to get the point, you have to say. They didn't deserve to get the draw, but who cares? It's a very, very important point, and they could certainly say lots of other games they thought they should have got more points.
Look at the space for Morris here, inside Bournemouth territory. Runs up to the edge of the area. He's got support on the right from Kabore. Kabore's cross into the box. Almost came through to Chong, away by Lewis Cook, who was filling in deep inside the penalty area, and eventually it's cleared out towards this near side. And on the scamper forward, once again, the ball picked up by Cook, sent infield. Semenyo might get there first. Across comes Burke. Good challenge by him. And eventually it goes back to Kaminski. But Sam Allison had control of that situation. He felt there was another foul in the build-up to it, and they're just waiting for both players to get back to their feet. In fact, 3 players are just struggling. There's a yellow card here for Jordan Clark for arguing.
Well, I think that's a good decision. I think Rhys Burke has done superb there, because Mengi's run with Solanke, and then the ball's played just a little bit behind him. He's tried to go for it. He slipped. And Burke's come in and he's made a great tackle on Semenyo.
Yeah, he's one that followed through afterwards on Mengi wasn't great. His own teammate.
No, what you look at him,
almost took him out. But actually Clark, I think, has been booked for a late challenge on Ryan Christie, a little bit deeper inside the Bournemouth half of the field, which was the initial pass that released Smith on the attack. And that's good refereeing.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good refereeing so far. That was definite foul, definite yellow card. Well done for playing on, and it wasn't a foul. I think you got all those decisions right.
Half an hour gone. It is Bournemouth 0, Luton Town 1 on Talksport. And we've got loads of football for you coming up. Tomorrow night's a massive night, really, isn't it? West Ham against Freiburg, early on Talksport 2. And then we're off to Villa Park for Villa against Ajax of Amsterdam. That finally poised at 0-0. Freiburg have the lead in that West Ham game.
Yeah, look, I thought Brighton would find it difficult against Roma, but I genuinely believe West Ham can do it, overturn that 1-0 deficit, and Villa too.
Shouldn't be 1-0, should it? Should have had a penalty at the end of that game. Here's Chong on to Doughty. Doughty inside the area. Ogbeni is arriving at the far post, and he scored. Chidozie Ogbeni scores again for Luton Town, but Alfie Doughty has provided another chance, another assist, and another Luton Town goal. The Happy Hatters are doubling their lead as they bid to clamber away from danger, and if it stays like this, They will be out of the relegation zone tonight. Bournemouth 0, Luton 2.
Wow, an absolutely superb play from Luton, you have to say. And Alfie Doughty's kind of started it. He's played it to Chong, and then he's just got in behind. It's really, again, poor defending how he's allowed. It's not as if he's, lightning. If there's Benny on the other side, you say fair enough, but he's completely free. And he just played it first time, which has meant that the Bournemouth defenders have not been able to get back. Neither Mepham nor Smith able to get anywhere near Doughty. And Benny, when you're running at the goal, well, no one's catching him. He gets there first, and we're just seeing pictures of Tom Lockyer, and he's absolutely delighted with what he's seeing.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alfie Doughty does get the assist, and he's running superb. His cross, pinpoint, the finish from Ogbeni, excellent. But the ball from Tahith Chong that's played down the inside left channel to set Doughty away is a thing of beauty. 2-0 to Luton Town away from home. Here is Christie, edge of the area. It's cleared away, out towards the far side. Now it's been picked up right side and travelling forward at pace. Ogbeni again, and Mepham has to slide in on halfway to stop Ogbeni in his tracks.
I want to say that Chong pass had sort of similarities to Odegaard's last night. Do you know what I mean with that? It's not exactly the same, and it's not quite as tight, but it's still
similar sort of thing.
Cheeky outside of the left foot pass.
Down in that little channel. And Trossard exposed it brilliantly last night, and then Doughty across to Ogbeni to expose it tonight. And Luton, 2 goals to the good. And this is a great position for Rob Edwards to be in. Here is Solanke down the right-hand side, and they're chasing an opponent they were expected to beat at home again, Bournemouth.
Don't forget, though, they were in this position on Saturday, weren't they? And they came back to get a point. So Luton certainly need to be on their toes. They need to get to half-time now. 2-0 up. And I'll tell you what a wonderful first 30-odd minutes for Rob Edwards' side.
So far, so good for the visitors. Cook to take the corner from the near side, right-footed, sending the ball into the penalty spot. There was space there for Sinisterra, and it all just bobbled up after a deflection towards the far post, and Solanke was chasing it in, but it went past the right hand upright and out for a corner over on the far side.
I'll tell you what, that was a really well-worked corner. You can see that's happened on the training ground. Sinisterra with a really good touch, and Solanke very nearly got in at the far post. It was free.
Here come Bournemouth once again with another set piece, this one from the far side, taken by Alex Scott, in towards the near post this time, glanced away by Morris. Retrieved by Ryan Christie on the right edge of the area. His cross is a very good one. Mengi takes charge, thunders the header away. Hashioka, I think, got stood on there, but he's back to his feet very quickly. Out comes Kabore with the ball, and the ball is over on the far side with Scott once again. Dortmund 1, PSV 0. Jadon Sancho with a goal on Talksport 2. It was 1-1 going into the second leg, so Dortmund lead as the ball goes in from Cook towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Forward by Semenya, taken down and steered forward by Kabore, and then Chong weaves away from Cook too easily, feeds it out to Kabore, far side. Zabanyi trying to keep up with him. I'm not sure that he did he? Well, the referee is giving a corner over on the far side, which suggests that he did get a touch on that, and it was imperative that he did, because had he had taken him out, he would have been in a spot of bother, I think.
Well, he must have, but this is absolutely playing into Luton's hands, the way they're able to counter-attack with this pace. If it is Ogbeni, I think he would have got there. And Kabore's not slow. I'm not sure he did get a touch, did he?
I'm not sure he did either.
Yeah, actually he did.
No, it was close.
Yeah.
The assistant over on the far side is a lot closer to it than we are, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And you haven't picked up your binoculars yet tonight.
No, it's a very tight, intimate stadium. I don't think I need them with my bad eyes right now.
I'm surprised you could pick them up. They're massive. 36 gone, 2-0 to Luton. Corner comes in towards the penalty area. Neto gets something on it above Reece Burke, who was throwing himself towards the ball inside the 6-yard area. It's cleared away from the right back, Adam Smith, and Kaminski, sweeper-keeper style, in the middle of his own half, feeds Clark, who darts forward, sends it infield, collected now by Ross Barkley, who works it out towards the right-hand side. Now it's at the feet of Alfie Doughty, who's on the wrong side because he was taking the corner just moments ago. and then he gets it back towards the halfway line. This could be a big night for Luton Town as they look to try and survive in the Premier League. Chong, who's looked lively all night, feeds the ball down to Doughty again. He's down by the byline. Another low cross into the box. It's towards Ogbenny. Didn't get the first clean effort away. He was blocked in the end by Cook. And then across comes Scott and just about manages to clear it. Bournemouth are rattling.
Absolutely, and great play from Ross Barkley, just keeping the ball and then just playing a little cheeky sort of inside a couple of Bournemouth players for Chong to run onto. You know, and Alfie Doughty, he doesn't look an athlete really, does he? He doesn't look lightning like Albani does the other side, but he's not slow. And his balls in are really, really good as well. And I'll tell you what, Luton, every chance of getting a third here.
Well, Bournemouth have got to shut the door, otherwise they're going to get counter-attacked on again. And they trail here by 2-0. 37 minutes on the clock on Talksport tonight. Down at the Vitality Stadium, the floodlights, 4 independent ones in the corners, burning brightly on the lush green playing surface, which is a little bit moist and damp because of the wetness in the air. But they haven't really responded to those goals properly yet. They've had a few skirmishes and 1 or 2 tame efforts on target, but nothing more than that so far. Here is Sinistera trying to change things, right side. Gloves on tonight as he tries to cut infield, plays it into Christie. Christie tries to nudge it forward into Solanke, who's looking to turn away from Hashioka. Uses his body well, plays it out to Smith. Smith declines the opportunity to cross. Cook doesn't. He hoiks it to the far post. Sinistera going up for a header. It was blocked by Ogbenny. Ouattara will try to return it with interest. Back into the near post. Mengi into the air. Burke further clear, but they can't get out of their own area at this moment in time. Still the high press is on. Zabani keeps it inside that final third. On to Semenya, 10 yards outside the box, left side. Bournemouth on the attack. His shot is narrowly wide. It looked like it took a little flick off Kaminsky on the way through, and it's a corner.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mengi for me has been absolutely superb this evening. He's always got in front of Solanke when the ball's come in. And in the end, Semenya having a shot on his left foot from outside the box. He's not going to be beaten from there. But there was a little deflection. So when you're not playing that well, set pieces come even more into the game.
We told you about Luton's ruthlessness in front of goal. 2 shots on target, 2 goals so far in the game. Here is Christie towards the far post with his corner, which is headed away. Bournemouth have had 7 attempts on goal, 2 on target, no goals to show for it. There's another effort there from Cook from distance, which is parried away by Kaminsky. And it goes back out to the left-hand side, and Zabani in towards the right edge of the 6-yard box, but Barkley was superb. Felt that Cook was coming from behind him, just used his strength to hold him off, and the ball just dribbles behind and goes out for a goal kick. It's been a good first half so far for Luton Town.
Well, that's an understatement. It's been an absolutely superb first half, I have to say. Really good defending there from Ross Barkley, something he doesn't normally feel comfortable doing, but he did it there. And Lewis Cook, he's 25 yards out, and I'm thinking you're not going to score from there. It was actually a really good strike and a decent save, but I still don't think you're going to beat Kaminsky from there.
Well, created both goals against Burnley recently, but he's never scored a Premier League goal. Here is Jordan Clark darting forward in white for Luton, and it was half cleared by Adam Smith. He sort of overran it a little bit there, Clark, and that allowed Bournemouth to pinch it. They've got it up towards Solanke. Semenya's got to stay onside. He was offside, surely, on this right-hand side. The linesman's kept his flag down, but Semenya's coming forward. His shot comes towards the edge of the box, and then Semenya picks it up again. Surely that was offside, wasn't it?
I thought it was, and we were kind of in line there.
We were, weren't we? Here is Ouattara onto Sinistera. Low ball into the near post, flicked behind by Burke, and it goes out for a corner.
So if that had gone in, how far back do you go on a goal?
You won't go back now, let's just put it that way.
No.
But I think if it had gone in then, they might have looked back to see if that was the case.
The same phase of play.
I think that would still be categorised as the same phase of play, but you never know. It's subjective. Here's the corner kick on the far side. Now, Scott's had a couple of goes at this and hasn't quite got it right. And again, that near post delivery hasn't come off for them. And it's easily shepherded away by Luton and out to the far side. Wasn't a very good delivery at all. Here he comes again. Scott. All wiry and long-limbed, trying to turn the ball out towards this near side. It's a better delivery into the path of Smith. Smith helps it on to Semenya. Semenya being followed by the new Japanese international defender. Hashioka, and then as the ball goes infield towards Smith, Doughty fouls him, and it's going to be a free kick on this near side. A chance to create something with 4 minutes to go in the first half here at the Vitality Stadium with Luton leading.
Yeah, he didn't need to do that either, Alfie Doughty. Just got straight on there, and in the end, this should be a dangerous position, but as we've just been saying, the set pieces, certainly the corners from Bournemouth, have been pretty poor this evening.
Here is the free kick to be taken by either Scott or Christie. Christie will arc it in left-footed in towards goal if it's him. It'll be away from the goalkeeper if it's Scott, who's right-footed. It's Christie with his right arm in the air. There are 5 to aim at inside the box, and Solanke now joining. It's going to be Christie who swings it in towards the far post. It's headed clear, first of all by Benny, and then further on by Morrison out for a corner far side. Right,
just a couple of minutes to go. Make sure this corner beats the first man. When you're not playing well, set piece is really important, and of course the crowd as well. When you don't see them beating that first man, they groan even more, which means your confidence just drops.
Corner kick to be taken by Scott again. Is he going to go for the near post? Although they've vacated that area, it's whipped in a little bit deeper, right under the back edge of the 6-yard box, and it goes straight out of play.
So what does he do? He's not going to go in the near post again. He's going to put a little bit more on it, and he's just put too much on it there. I do think someone's got to come round the back and sort of read that situation, know that perhaps he's feeling a little bit nervous. He's not going to go to the near post. He is going to go to the far post. He probably will overhit it a little bit. And no one's read that at all. They just don't quite seem in sync as we know how well Bournemouth can play. But that's all credit to Luton, you have to say.
Dundee Aberdeen 0-0, Ross County Hibernian 0-0 in the Scottish Premiership, and 0-0 between Peterborough and Stevenage in League One. Atletico Madrid 0, Inter 0, and Dortmund 1-0 up against PSV. At this moment in time, it's going to be Inter and Dortmund that progress into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, the draw for which is Friday during the 10 till 1 slot, I'm led to believe. Looking forward to that. Here is Carlton Morris, using his body to get down the right-hand side, and he was struggling off 2 defenders, despite the fact that Christie had him round by the midriff, and it's going to be a free kick to Luton with 90 seconds to go. Well, look, if there was a score here, Bournemouth were in massive trouble.
Absolutely, and I don't see them coming back from that. We said when Bournemouth have just had a couple of set pieces, well, if they can get a goal, that Luton need to keep a clean sheet up until half-time, but if they can go and get a third, go 3-0 up, the crowd, when they walk off here, will be booing their team. They'll be lacking a lot of confidence, you have to say.
2-0 the score, and a minute to go before the end of this first 45, which has certainly belonged to Luton Town. They have a free kick wide on the right as they look at it. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger right under the goalkeeper, who punched it away, Neto. He got it out as far as Kabore, who recycles it. Morris can't challenge for it because he was coming out from an offside position. And it goes into the arms of Neto, and he will clear away. We're into the final minute of the first 45. Here is Christie flipping the ball out towards the left, and that's a good take by Sinistera, who's now trying to run down the left wing position for Bournemouth into Ouattara, and it was played against the defender and then came up and hit Burke's hand, but I don't think anyone was suggesting there should be a penalty there. And then Carlton Morris involved in a battle with Zabani, just a little bit too much physicality from Carlton Morris, and a free kick given against the former Barnsley man, and it's a free kick to Bournemouth over on the far side.
Just going back to that corner or the free kick that they had, Carlton Morris, he didn't go for it because he knew he was in offside position, but he should have just dropped off quickly, and then he would have been in.
Yeah, I was thinking that. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. You're absolutely right, because if he'd actually just got out and then come back again, they would have been in a brilliant position. Cook whips another ball into the far post. It's squeezed out to the far side. Ouattara, Sinistera, under pressure from Kabore, tries to get to the edge of the box on the left for Bournemouth as they look to try and fashion an attack, a last attack of the first half. We played 30 seconds of the 3. Here is Ouattara trying to go through the legs of the defender. He lost out to Kabore, and now a chance to escape. And don't they escape at pace? Barkley charging forward. Kabore's on the ball right side. He feeds Barkley edge of the area, who's in behind Zabani. He strikes high into the net and smashes it home. It's a brilliant counter-attacking goal from Luton, finished off by Ross Barkley, who sends an instant reminder to Gareth Southgate of his abilities with a cracking goal. And it's another Luton goal at the end of a first half, which is definitely going to leave the Cherries with a sour taste in their mouth, because it's Bournemouth 0, Luton 3.
Wow. I mean, who called this? And again, it's another counter-attack from Luton, isn't it? They're so open, Bournemouth, and it's a simple one. Great play down the right-hand side, and what a fantastic run, you have to say, from Ross Barkley. But again, it's simple defending about not playing offsides. Who is that? That's Lewis Cook. He's got to look along the line and realise he's keeping Ross Barkley onside. And then Barkley, once he gets into the box, you know the technique he's got. Great strike on him. Brilliant play. I actually think it's been very quiet in this first half, but what a shot that was. But again, you have to say that's really poor defending from Bournemouth. And this time, you know, it is Lewis Cook in trying to defend, but he's got to see that he's the last man.
A rocket from Ross shows Bournemouth who's boss. That was an absolute belter from Barkley. And it's Bournemouth 0, Luton 3. And we haven't reached half-time yet. And the Luton fans, we're staying up, is the cry.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they play like this and now to the end of the season, they will. That's absolutely sure. But can they produce this performance from here on in? We talked about these next two games being absolutely crucial to them, and Rob Edwards is right in saying, look, if they don't go the way that they want them to, he sees the importance, but if they don't go the way that he wants them to, then it's not the end of the world. You know, they still have time to get back. But then you look at the games on the other side of the break. Spurs away, Arsenal away, City away. They ain't picking up many points there, I don't think. Well, maybe they will in these type of performances, but away from home, I can't see it. So these next two games crucial. What a first half, you have to say, here tonight.
Rob Edwards is standing there with his arms folded across his chest, looking like he's just walked out of a next directory, without a single emotion on his face, because he doesn't want to get carried away, because he doesn't want to believe that the job is done yet. He wants to try and treat this professionally, but inside he must be jumping.
Absolutely. He will be proud as punch what he's seen so far. I mean, he wouldn't have expected this.
Well, they've got another chance here, because they've given away another set piece here, Bournemouth, and this is about 15 yards inside opposition territory on the right, just in front of the centre circle, and Barkley's going to elevate it into the box and drive it forward towards the back post, towards Morris, but he was beaten in the air by Semenyo. That brings to the end what was a rather fascinating first 45 minutes, which leads to boos from the home fans and absolute cheers from the away supporters. Luton in front thanks to goals from Chon Benny and Barkley, and Bournemouth have got a particularly poor record when faced with any situation where they're behind at half-time. They've lost 8 of their previous 9 in which they've been behind at the break, and believe me, the way this is going, it's not going to get much better, that record, because this is one-way traffic as far as goals are concerned. Luton will hope that trend certainly continues, and they can move out of the bottom 3 if it stands like this, because at half-time it's Bournemouth 0, Luton 3.
And Bournemouth booed off all at sea on the south coast. But top Hatters, they've been absolutely fantastic, as have their fans opposite us. And let's just analyse it, Scott Minto, because we were talking about how Luton might defensively have a problem on the left-hand side. It's Bournemouth on the left-hand side have had a massive problem, and I wonder how much Andoni Iraola has looked at Luton Town, because they put more crosses in than any other Premier League side. Ogbene's one of the quickest players in the Premier League, and Iraola's decided to put up against him tonight Ouattara, who has no defensive bone in his body. And on that side, two of the goals have been created on that side. The other one's been scored on that side. That's been a huge problem for Bournemouth, and Luton have exploited it brilliantly.
Absolutely. First of all, you have to say, I think Hashioka has defended really well. He's looked comfortable when he's been on the ball, but even when the ball's got in behind him, I think Mengi, for me, has absolutely marshalled the defence brilliantly. But yes, quite early on, you know, we talked about Ouattara as not a left back, he's a left winger, and actually maybe that's the way that that Luton can go at Bournemouth, and they did do that. It's where the first goal came from. And look, Sam came out with a stat, didn't he? Not only the second most open play crosses, but also the highest big chance conversion rate, 57%. Well, they've had 3 shots on goal. They've scored 3 times.
That's what they do. And defensively, you're right to point out Ted and Mengi. He's in the middle of the 3 centre-halves. He's not 22 until next month. He's still very young. Came from Manchester United. There was a moment at 0-0 where Ryan Christie's clean through. He's got a one-on-one with the keeper. He smells danger, comes speeding across, striding across, blocks the chance, and a moment later, Luton are 1-0 up. I mean, it's easy to look at the goals and the creative play and the width that Luton have got, but him at the back, he's been absolutely magnificent.
He's been an absolute rock, and you're right to mention that particular incident, because that's where the first goal did come from 30 seconds later. And do you remember we were at Kenilworth Road for the game against Manchester City, and the man-for-man marking that Rob Edwards asked him to do? I mean, you don't man-to-man mark Erling Haaland. No one can do that. Maybe Virgil van Dijk, that's about it. And obviously on that day he found it tough, to say the least. Here it's exactly the best way that need to do. Forget the man-to-man. You know what, you need protection sometimes, and Mengi's come over to Hashioka and also to Reece Burke, and Rick Burke, I have to say, has been brilliant in himself, so we have to mention him as well. All 3 have been superb, but Mengi is just reading the situation. If he can see his left side or his right side centre-half able to deal with the situation, he doesn't engage. If he needs help, then he goes in. I think he's been sensational, I really do, and it gives that platform for then Luton to go on the counter-attack and use their pace. Bournemouth have been really poor defensively. Luton have been clinical, but it comes from that sound, solid foundation that Mengi and the back 3 are able to give. It's been the perfect half for Luton.
Mentioned Ouattara at an inverted commas left back for Bournemouth. They do have a left back, Kirkes, on the bench, so I'm wondering what on earth has been going on in Areola's head. Maybe there is a reasonable explanation, but it's a bizarre one as far as I'm concerned. Another thing to mention about Bournemouth, because they've had a terrible first half. Alex Scott's a brilliant technical footballer. He could go to the very top, but if he keeps taking corners like he's taking tonight, he's going to go to the very bottom. They've been rubbish.
Yeah, they have, and you know, sometimes you've got to say, right, and someone else needs to make the decision, even if the manager's not, and we sort of look him in the eye like, do you want me to take this one? You know, because clearly he's lacking in confidence, and when things aren't going well, and then you don't miss the first man, and it's easily headed away, that gives the crowd even more chance to sort of just have that groan. They want to support the team, we're not seeing it enough, but with set pieces, they absolutely have the right to say, at least get it in the box, at least beat the first man, and then what happens? He overhits it in the next one as well. So set pieces, Ada, so important. When you're not playing well, they need to be spot on. They're not. They need to be better in that. They need to be more clinical. They need to test Kaminsky more, and they need to be more solid at the back. I mean, I say as well as Luton have played, Bournemouth really as a team have played extremely poorly, certainly defensively.
Well, if it is going to be a massive comeback, what a night we're in store for here at the Vitality, because Luton lead 3-0 at half-time, and they're good for that 3-0 lead as well. And those Luton fans in the middle of the first half were singing Chong will tear you apart again. He's got the first. His brilliant pass helped set up the second. And then England's Ross Barkley slammed in the third live on Talksport. Are you calling the squad,
are you? Yeah. Is he in?
Well,
what have you heard?
We'll have a discussion later in the show. Goal aside, very quickly, goal aside, has he been any good?
No, actually, I think he's been quite quiet, to be honest with you. I think we've talked about the players that have been very good. He has been quiet. I want him to dominate games now. He should be able to at 3-0. He should be able... Defensively, actually, he's done okay. But on the ball, I want to see him even more and set up attacks. But you could argue he's just done a job for the team tonight. You know, he hasn't had to be brilliant. Just want to see him a little bit more on the ball and do a couple of things which we have seen him do, just more of.
Well, I want to see more of Bournemouth in the second half.
Do you know what? We will. That's the thing. You know, Bournemouth have to go for it in the second half, which then lends itself to Luton being able to counter-attack even more. I think we've got a fascinating and really exciting second half coming up.
Yeah, let's hope that Bournemouth haven't given up in that dressing room. Let's hope there's some fighting talk and they come out fighting in the second half, which we'll bring you live on Talksport.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Who are you going for in the racing today?
The favourite.
And tomorrow?
The favourite.
And the next day?
The favourite.
The Sun's horse racing pullout, The Favourite, is now in the paper 7 days a week. Yes, that's right. Every single day. bringing you even more top tips, more form guides, more race cards, and all the colours and silks. Get your favourite pull-out every day in the sun, the home of racing.
A little story is easy to share. We can meet pink unicorns, pirates and bears. We can even be pilots, fly to faraway places. The magic is waiting, so let's open the pages.
A little story could make a big difference, but 1 in 5 children say they don't own a book. So we've provided over 160 million books since 2013, and we won't stop there. McDonald's. Change a little, change a lot. 19.2% of respondents from a survey of 6,896 children aged 5 to 8, National Literacy Trust 2023.
There will be 14 minutes of extra time.
With Betfair's 90-minute payout, you don't have to wait for the final whistle to celebrate, because your winning bet will be paid out in full at 90 minutes. Betfair.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Don't break your stride. Hurry to Screwfix for unmissable deals on trade essentials. Big paint job on? Buy the Fortress Big Box Set for $27.99 and get a half-price extension pole for just $7.47. Patios and driveways in need of a clean? Get the Titan Pressure Washer for just $59.99. Shop now, on the app, at screwfix.com or in-store. Delivery fees may apply. Prices valid until at least April 1st, subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game, cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
When the kids eat us out of house and home, we just eat groceries from Sainsbury's.
Yeah, shopping's here! Give me those! No, mine! Maxie's and that! Come on,
When do they leave home?
Get Sainsbury's, Asda and Co-op delivered for free. For groceries and everything else.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Participate in stores. A minimum spend applies. Other charges apply. Subject to availability. See justeat.co.uk for details.
Kick-off on Talksport.
With Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Feel the full force of football.
Have we got something special for you?
Kick-off live.
What a great bit of play.
On Talksport.
This is Talksport Breakfast, live from the Cheltenham Festival.
Jack Bauer, wouldn't you believe it? Go on, tell us what you've been doing the last 24 hours.
I left here. That was a wee prior. The young team got that one. Thanks, lads. It was brilliant.
Jack Bauer. Jack Bauer was tremendous.
A Mullins winner! How can you stop him when you can't? Back to File has won it.
When it starts raining, some horses do not go in the heavy going. That's the reason why I can't tip a winner.
This is Paul Hawksby and Andy Jacobs, where this afternoon we're coming to you live once again from Prestbury Park.
Always the way that you try and approach Cheltenham. I know, Andy, you like to dress up for Cheltenham, don't you?
You look very stylish.
Well, I'm wearing a Charles Tyrwhitt coat today, not that I've mentioned them at all today.
Would it be a Queen Mother for Rachel Blackmore? A fabulous victory for Captain Guinness. An exhilarating race, as this race is so often intoxicating, but it's Captain Guinness who's delivered the goods.
There we are. That's a bit of a whiskey taste. Andy's such a pro. Just the 25 years. The minute we come back off that pre-recorded section, he's got a great big mouthful of pat. From the hands of Patrick Mullin, it's Jasmine DeVoe. Willie Mullins, 100 not out of the Cheltenham Festival.
How good has Cheltenham been live on Talksport this week? All the races on the Talksport network. H&J live from Cheltenham 1 till 4. And the breakfast show, of course, with Alan Brazil, hopefully, on Talksport from 6 a.m. live from the course. He's with Ali McCoy, Scabby Agbonlahor, joins in from 8 tomorrow as well. Ollie Mers is on the show, Alan Pardew's on the show, Virgin Radio's Ryan Tubridy's on the show as well. That's 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, hopefully with Alan Brazil live on Talksport. Bournemouth are back out already 4 minutes early So we're still waiting for Luton to lead 3-0. Dango Ouattara is still out there, and he's in the left-back position as they get ready for the second half. Ross County, by the way, lead Hibs 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership tonight. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
So Luton 3 up here at Bournemouth. Luton are 8-1 on to win. The draw is 8-1. Bournemouth to come back and win is 16-1. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Let's get the latest in the Champions League on Atletico Madrid against Inter Milan. Jeff Peters.
It's 0-0 on the night, so Inter have that slender one-goal advantage from the first leg. It's been fast-paced, it's been absorbing, it's been entertaining, both sides with opportunities. Lino into the box for Atletico. Jan Sommer with a fine save. Griezmann falling backwards, scoop one high over the bar. We've just seen Alvaro Morata with a powerful header, saved fairly comfortably by the goalkeeper. At the other end, Denzel Dumfries raced into the box. Oblak parried the first effort, but then a weaker second shot was fairly easy for him, and then Oblak had to be alert to Martinez's deflected shot from 30 yards, which almost sneaked under the bar. Unbeaten in 31 matches in all competitions, Inter Milan, they lead on aggregate by 1-0.
And in the other one, live on Talksport 2, Jadon Sancho's goal still separates two sides. Borussia Dortmund 1, PSV 0. That's 2-1 to Borussia Dortmund on aggregate. I was mentioning Cheltenham, the latest in our podcast series, the Sports Book Club, came out yesterday. It's perfect for Cheltenham week. It focuses on a great book called My Life in 12 Horses, all about top trainer Nicky Henderson, and highlighting Cheltenham legends like Sprinter Sacre, Remittance Man, Long Run, and others as well. Interviews on the podcast with the author Kate Johnson and one of the great jockeys, Barry Geraghty. What a privilege it was to speak to him. Watch out for it on our social media platforms at Talksport2, at Bookie Prize, and at the Adrian Durham. It's also available on Spotify as well. The story in the podcast about Remittance Man's close friendship with a sheep called Nobby is worth the download just for that alone, and the book has got a picture of the two of them together as well. Magnificent. That's the Sports Book Club podcast. You can get it on Spotify. If Super League's your thing, we have Super League this weekend. London Broncos, one of the early season strugglers, facing Stuart Pearce's Warrington Wolves. That's Sunday afternoon on Talksport 2. That's a goal in the Champions League in Madrid, Jeff Peters.
It is. It's Atletico 0, Inter Milan 1. It's 2-0 now on aggregate. Down the left-hand side, spread to about 12 yards out, and Federico Di Marco has just finished first time past the goalkeeper Oblak. Tidy finish, and it really is advantage Inter Milan 0. 1-0 on the night, 2-0 on aggregate.
And still goalless in League One. Peterborough United 0, Stevenage 0. So they are very much an inconvenience at this moment in time. We'll see if any goals go in at London Road. But let's get ready for the second half here, live and exclusive on Talksport. It's not even on your telly. And Luton are heading out of the bottom three and sending Forest into the relegation zone. Bournemouth 0, Luton 3, second half with Scott Minto and Sam Matterface.
Marcus Tavernier and Enis Unal are on the field of play for Bournemouth at the start of the second half. Two changes, Alex Scott and Luis Sinistera are off. They have been out there for about 5 minutes, Scott Minto, as they get us off and underway at the start of the second half and immediately put the ball into touch. What are you expecting? Were you surprised, first of all, to see them so early, and what do you think of the changes?
No, well, look, I thought it was quite old school, but I also saw pictures of Iraola on the bench. He was absolutely livid with what he saw. You could see it was almost like, I want to get out of here, I want to be shouting the walls down, and I'm sure he did, even though he's quite a calm guy. But, you know, that was as bad as it could get, both attacking-wise and defensively. Look, you know, we talked about Alex Scott, wasn't particularly great and certainly wasn't good on set pieces. I still feel he was getting themselves into right positions when it was 1-0 and even 2-0, but I'm surprised about Sinistera. I thought he looked the most dangerous at the front three, to be honest with you, but you know, he's got to do something, and he could have made 5 changes.
Well, Benny down the right-hand side. I'll run through the 2 11s for you in just a second, but in white shirts with a thick orange stripe down their right side. Luton on the attack, coming forward off Benny, was tugged back definitely by Mepham. The referee's allowed play on because Cabore's produced the cross into the centre, which Smith has sent back out towards this near side. And Cabore wrestling again with Tavernier. The ball goes out and away for a throw on this near side. So Neto is the Bournemouth goalkeeper. Smith, Mepham, Zabangi and Ouattara the back four. Christian Cook holding in midfield. And then it's Enis Unal who is playing behind Solanke. And the wingers are Semenya and Tavernier, who's playing on this left-hand side. For Luton, it's as you were. Kaminski is their goalkeeper. It's Burke, Mengi and Hashioka. Cabore and Doughty, the two wing-backs. And then it's Barkley and Clark, who's been booked. Ogbeni, Morris and Chong on the offensive for Luton. And boy, have they been on the offensive. Chong, Ogbeni and Barkley with the goals so far in the game that have given Luton Town, in this first ever top division meeting between these two, the opportunity to move out of the relegation zone. There's been another goal in Madrid just moments ago. We told you about Inter taking the lead. What's the latest, Jeff Peters?
It's now 1 apiece on the night. Atletico have levelled through Antoine Griezmann from about 6 yards out. Typical poacher's finish. 1-1 on the night. Inter lead 2-1 on aggregate.
Jeff Peters keeping an eye on the things in the Metropolitana tonight. Over on Talksport 2, Jim and Darren Ambrose bring you commentary of Dortmund against PSV, and it's 1-0 to the Bundesliga side on the night, 2-1 on aggregate to them. Here we're at the Vitality Stadium, a shell-shocked Bournemouth, all shaking their heads as I walk through the crowd at half-time, Scott. And they need to respond, don't they? Because I suppose for Luton now, the key problem here for Luton is what do you do next? Do you stick or do you twist?
No, you do exactly what you did in the first half. You make sure you're very solid. You try and, we talked about the back three. I think they've been absolutely sensational. Well protected by the players in front as well. But when it has gone down to the last three, the back three, I think they've been superb and they've protected Kaminski a lot. And then, because Bournemouth will have to go for it, the spaces should open up for the counter-attack.
Keane and Dewsbury Hall scored the winner the last time Luton were victorious here in January 2021, when Bournemouth had Jefferson Lerma sent off in the first half. He loves a card, that fella. He loves a card almost as much as Alan Brazil loves a race card.
What I would say as well, Sam, I've been in this situation before. You 3-0 down at home. I remember playing for West Ham against Manchester United. We were 3-0 down after 20 minutes. You're thinking, this isn't happening. And we managed to get it back to 3-2, but then I think we lost 4-2 in the end. Palo Di Canio had a good chance to make it 3-3, but it's about character now. The fans are ready to have a go, and rightly so. You need to show a bit of pride.
Played forward by Christie towards the left. Tavernier with a lovely ball in towards the near post, and actually that was going all the way through to Enis Unal. But across came Teran Mengi and managed to scoop it out and behind and away for a corner kick.
Well, it's Mengi again, isn't it? Right place, and they ain't getting that ball back. That's gone right over the whole of the stadium there.
It has. The ball comes in from the corner kick. It's headed away by Mengi again, who has been the linchpin of that defence in recent weeks. He had a tough time against Haaland, but, who doesn't? Here is Christie, infield towards Tavernier, who tries to open up to shoot. Across comes Chong to block it. It's loose inside the area. Solanke feels he was being pulled, but he's turned anyway, and he's stripped the ball past the goalkeeper and in, and they're on the scoreboard inside the first few minutes of the second half, and that's a warning to Luton. Excellent strength by Dominic Solanke, who held the ball against his chest and held off the defender, spun brilliantly, and then chipped the ball over the top of the advancing goalkeeper, and Bournemouth are on the scoreboard. It's Bournemouth 1, Luton 3.
Well, it's the perfect start, isn't it, to the second half? Exactly what Iriola, Bournemouth and the fans here would have wanted. I'm talking about pride. They've been very much on the front foot. It's had a shot that's come in. I just wonder...
Was Chris Mepham in an offside position?
I wonder whether he was, to be honest with you. Has there been a check?
Yeah, there is a check.
Looks like there is.
VAR is checking this, and I wonder whether or not it will be chalked off, because that wasn't a reset of a phase of play. That was very much part of it.
Absolutely. You have to say, I think he's just been absolutely superb there, the way he's held off Hashioka. He's brought the ball down, he's turned him, and he's dinked it over the goalkeeper. But I'm pretty sure, and we haven't had any replays as yet, that Chris Mepham, who headed the ball into him, was in an offside position.
He did. He was the one who headed the ball down on the from the edge of the area to the edge of the box, and then it was turned into the path of Solanke. He held off the defender brilliantly, Hashioka, and then clipped it over the top into the net. This will be the second time that he's scored in this fixture this season, and I think it's the second time he's not going to count for his goals tally.
Yeah, look, on Saturday, I mean, look,
they've given it.
Decision, goal.
Do you know what? The replays we were showed there with VAR wasn't even about Chris Mepham being offside.
No.
It was about, what happened once Solanke received the ball. And do you know what? I was just about to say, this is the big moment in the game. If it stays 3-0, I don't think they can come back from it. 3-1 completely lifts them.
Tavernier out towards the right-hand side. They're on the attack again with Semenya. Semenya inside the area, cuts back on his left foot, and it's over the top of the bar by an inch. Brilliant break from Bournemouth. And almost a second goal.
And it should be, Sam. It should be. It's got to be clinical there. It's a brilliant counter-attack in the way that Luton counter-attacked Bournemouth in the first half. He's come inside onto his left foot. He's got to hit the target. It's not that difficult to do. I can see he's trying to whip it with pace. But you've got to hit the target. You're inside the box. You're on your left foot. The goal has opened up. My goodness me. What a chance to make that 3-2.
I've got to be honest, I want to see that replay again of the goal. It was a great goal, and I'm pleased for Dominic Solanke that it stood, but I'm not sure about that. Mepham's just been penalised for throwing Ogbeni to the floor, and it's going to be a free kick to Luton Town on this near side. Rob Edwards a little bit frustrated, and I think I can understand why. The last thing he wanted to do was concede inside the first 5 minutes of the second half, and that's exactly what they've done.
Look, whether that was offside or not, and we'll find out eventually whether it was, Luton should have defended that better. The ball was headed into the box. There were enough Luton defenders around there, and we talked about how Hashioka did well in that first half. He's got to be stronger.
Barkley to take this set piece. It's about 20 yards inside opposition territory. It's not a great delivery, but it almost scooted all the way through, took a deflection and went behind, and goes for a corner kick. The Bournemouth supporters and the Bournemouth players immediately protest because they think it took a nick off a Luton body. But it is a corner, far side.
Whether it did or whether it didn't, and it's Luton who have got a chance obviously to score with a set piece here, it's no doubt about it. Bournemouth have come out in this second half and very much on the front foot.
Rob Edwards has just gone over to Simon Hooper, the fourth official, to ask for clarification about what happened during that period in which that ball was flung into the box by Mepham. Looks as if he's being placated. The ball goes arcing towards Carlton Morris, whose header comes back off the goalkeeper, and Chong tucks it home. And the referee immediately rules it out for offside against Chong. But Dominic Solanke was right on the goal line there. It'll be fascinating to watch this one back as well.
So the ref's got to say, wait, let's wait. The ball comes in.
Oh, yeah, he's offside, just.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
That's a good decision, you have to say, from the referee's assistant.
I want to see that other one again. Peterborough take the lead against Stevenage by a goal to nil, just before half-time as well. And that minor inconvenience may well have just been swept aside now, you never know. 3-1 to Luton here. Ball out of play. We've got a big game on Saturday, by the way.
I heard that was
big
offside.
Game on Saturday. Peterborough take on Portsmouth.
I thought you were going to say they had Charlton. I knew they didn't have Charlton.
Top of the table, Pompey, mate. Ball sent down the right-hand side. Across goes Mengi to see it back to his goalkeeper. There wasn't enough pressure on there, but enough to put Kamensky off, and he slices the ball out on this near side. Bournemouth fans believing that there might be something in this for them after all. 55 on the clock. Bournemouth on the attack down the left. Tavernier, who's added a bit of spark to the situation. On to Ouattara, then on to Tavernier again. He's not played the right ball there, and it's cleared away by Clark, but Christie was right up in his face trying to win it back. Here is Carlton Morris trying to hold on to the ball under pressure from Mepham. Free kick has been given. We're just seeing a still photograph of that incident that ahead of the goal, and Mepham still looks in an offside position to me. But there is there's a defender at the far side.
Mepham's right foot. That's tight. I mean,
it's tight. They probably drew the lines.
Yeah, the thin lines.
But it's tight. Well, I'd like to have seen those lines.
We didn't, did we?
No, we didn't see anything. Ball out on this near side, and Mepham, who was involved in that scenario, sees the ball out on this near touchline. It's away for a throw-in. Kabore will take it for Luton Town, who have been pegged back. 3-1 the score now in their favour, but they're attacking down the right with Colton Morris. Couldn't find Ogbenny. They've got to keep their heads here, Luton. And Mengi gets it away, only as far as Lewis Cook, who tries to turn it back infield, but Clark comes across and snaffles the ball and puts it out of play, and it's away for a throw-in.
Well, this is where, and I talked about Ross Barkley and how much I think he's been superb this season. He needs to grab hold of the game now. He needs to take back control, because that's what they had in the first half and they haven't got now. And, the back three can defend and defend and defend, but if they've got wave after wave after wave of attack, very difficult to keep on doing that. So the midfield now needs to control the tempo of the game, and that's where I want Ross Barkley to come in now.
Score is Bournemouth 1, Luton 3 on Talksport with Now. Don't forget, with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. Here is Morris having his shirt pulled by Christie. Didn't go down, still trying to hold him off. Keeps hold of the ball well. Was being harassed by Christie from behind. They keep it inside the Bournemouth half momentarily. Then Christie wins it, sends it long. Burke steps in front of Tavernier, who gets away from him and gets the wrong side of him. Pulls the ball through the centre and misses. Who was coming inside the 6-yard box, and it goes out the other side. Collected once again, this time on the far touchline by Semenya. Infield it goes via Adam Smith to Zabani, and then back out wide to Semenyo again. He gets into the area, he takes on Doughty, tries to produce a cross. Doughty gets something on it to push him wide towards the far side, and then Semenyo just snaffles it back into the path of Lewis Cook. So Lewis Cook, who gets past Tahith Chong, low ball into the near post. Hashioka clears it. Morris trying to hold on to it, uses his body really well, and then puts it back into the penalty area. It runs loose once again. It's taken on well by Tavernier again inside the area, and then there's a foul against Enis Unal, and a little bit of a reprieve for Luton Town, who are under the cosh a little bit now.
Yeah, you have to say, from a neutral's point of view, it's kind of what we wanted, isn't it? Luton fans certainly won't be saying that, but Tavernier coming on has certainly made a difference. No doubt about it. He's got him behind Reece Burke there. It's a great ball in. He's not able to get on the end of it now.
Half-time in Madrid, Jeff Peters.
It's still an advantage into 2-1 on aggregate. Federico Di Marco finished off a fine team move, but within a couple of minutes, Antoine Griezmann levelled on the night, 6 yards out, an instinctive piece of quality. All square tonight, 2-1 to Inter.
Here it is Bournemouth 1, Luton Town 3, and we're in the 60th minute, 59th minute of the game. And that's significant, actually, that we're in the 59th minute of the game, because we've got a round of applause here from both sets of supporters to express gratitude to the medical staff that saved the life of Tom Lockyer during that 2.5 minutes when he didn't have a pulse here after collapsing with a cardiac arrest back in December. And it is a full round of applause, which is executed by all of the supporters inside the ground. Tom was on breakfast this morning, suggested that the thing he misses most about going to the training ground, not able to go in and see the beautiful face of Rob Edwards, he said. But what he was most happy about was seeing the beautiful face of his newborn daughter, and that's why he made it his mission to come down here today and thank the medical staff personally. Ball into the box on the right-hand side by Bournemouth on the attack, headed away by Luton. Barkley drags them up the field, then gets dispossessed by Christie. Christie turns it over and runs towards the edge of the box. It's collected by Solanke, out wide towards the left. We're on the hour mark on Talksport. Back to Enis Unal, who tries to guide his way, navigate away through a white wall of defenders. Back in by Smith and put behind by Kabore, and it's out for a corner.
Well, the atmosphere here now has completely changed from the first half. Just like to quickly mention as well the Cherries Trust with the Bournemouth fans who raised money and contributed for Luton supporters to come on the coach trip. Obviously Luton did themselves as well, but it's a real almost bonding experience to what happened. So well done to them, the Cherries Trust.
Yeah, I thought there might be an unusual atmosphere tonight because there's always going to be a bond between the two sets of supporters now as the corner comes in towards the near post. It's flicked towards goal by Unau. It's cleared off the line and then eventually scrambled away, comes back to the edge of the box, and then the referee gives the goal and says it went over the line, and Semenyo takes the applause, and Bournemouth have got a second goal. Unau got in front of his marker and clipped the ball towards goal. Semenyo followed it in. There's all sorts of confusion amongst the Luton Town back line, but it looks like Alfie Doughty did not manage to clear it off the line. The watch went off on Sam Allison's wrist and the referee gave the goal. It's Bournemouth 2, Luton 3.
Oh, this is just incredible, isn't it? You have to say, we thought it'd be an exciting second half. It's certainly been the case. And the ball was whipped in. There was a header, Unal cleared off the line.
It's Zabani's header, which they say is going over the line. I mean, we've seen the pictures. If it's gone over the line, it's a miracle. That's why we got goal line technology.
Absolutely.
Because you cannot see that with the naked eye.
No, look, it was really close, but again, I think it probably just was in. You have to say, brave from Zabani. And look, I said with Aid, we've got an exciting second half coming up, and he said the same thing as well, but I don't think either of us actually thought that Bournemouth would come out and score 2 goals after 15, 16, 17 minutes.
It's the first ever Cherries goal for Ilya Zabani. And I'll tell you what, Luton have been involved in some games where they've been ahead in matches and then pulled it back to within this sort of range and had a right good go at the opponents down at Kenilworth Road.
Some of the big boys as well. Chelsea being one of them.
They gave Liverpool a hell of a game. They gave Arsenal a hell of a game. Manchester City, hell of a game. They came back from what looked like a certain defeat against Villa recently and took them right to the very wire.
And what do we say?
Today it's them on the back foot.
Yes. And what do we say about the game? Was it here on Saturday, Bournemouth?
Yeah.
2-0 down against Sheffield United. Came back to 2-2. Could easily have got the winner as well. Missed penalty, a goal disallowed. We hoped it would be something similar, and it certainly is not disappointing.
It's a sensational game of football, and it's a lovely ball by Christie out towards the far side from deep inside his own half towards Semenyo, who runs inside the penalty area, gets it onto his left foot, drives it into the goal! Oh, what a comeback! What a goal! What an equaliser! And from 3-0 down to 3-3 within about 17 minutes. This is terrific from Bournemouth, and it's Semenyo who comes to the Cherries' aid. They've gone from 3-0 down to 3-3 in almost a blink of an eye, and Luton's lead has been scrubbed out.
Well, this is just incredible. It really is, and we talked about how Luton needed to regain control of this game, and they certainly haven't from the moment the second half started. Look, they came out in, 5, 6, 7 minutes early before the second half was going to start. We talked about Areola on the bench being absolutely livid with what he's seen in that first half. Well, this is a reaction that Bournemouth and the fans were looking for. It's been brilliant. I've no idea how this game is going to go. I do expect Luton to come into it, but it's all Bournemouth.
Well, I mean, this is it's a bonkers game of football. And do you know what was really interesting about it, actually, is the fact that, was there a handball there? The referee has eventually stopped the game, and the yellow card is going to come out here, and it's going to go the way of Chidozie Ogbene for his attempt to handle the ball away to our left-hand side. It's deliberate as well. I mean, the noise is deafening now.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's one of the smallest stadiums around, and yet it's one of the loudest right now. Rob Edwards will not believe what he's seen. He would have said at half-time, look, they're going to make changes, they're going to come at us, we need to make sure we're ready for this. Certainly the first 15 minutes of the second half, well, boy, they've not been ready. You've got to give credit to Bournemouth. 3-0 down. I can't remember if they were booed off, but certainly the fans weren't happy. And this is what you want, a reaction, showing resilience.
Well, they are pretty resolute. They don't lose very often. They've done sensible business. They'll be pleased with the way the season has gone, riding out that early storm and then settling in nicely. They've only lost 4 of their last 16 Premier League games, and even though wins have been elusive, they've won just 1 of the last 9 in the Premier League. They are desperate not to lose games. I mean, how on earth? They haven't lost this one. I mean, they're 3-0 down at half-time. But Luton have barely had a kick in the second half. It's been one-way traffic. All the goals at the other end from us, like they were in the first half. And Bournemouth, who were 3-0 down at half-time, have levelled things up. 3-3 the score.
Well, it's just incredible, and they can smell victory now. And look, you know, Luton could still win this game, but if they don't, and if they don't get a positive result on Saturday, you get the feeling they will look back on that and say, with the games coming up after that as well, that week was absolutely pivotal in staying up.
Well, the good news for Luton, as they make their change, and off comes Hashioka, and on comes Peli Ruddock Impanzu, just to try and stiffen up. Maybe that midfield, he might go into the back line. They might go to a back 4 here. Impanzu just trying to organise what's going to happen. Clark might go out to left wing back actually, and Doughty might tuck in as a third centre half, as they've done before with him. Ball sent forward by Bournemouth, who have it in the centre circle. Morris chests it down, tries to turn it out to Chong. The good news for Luton is they score more late goals than most. Only Arsenal and Liverpool have scored more goals in the final 15 minutes of games than them this season. But momentum has swung the other way at this moment in time.
Absolutely, and I personally don't like Alfie Doughty playing left side centre half. You miss so much of his great deliveries in. If they are going to go on and win the game, that's taking a large chunk of the possibility of Luton getting that winner.
Well, Smith is going to get a talking to from Sam Allison here for a cynical challenge to break up a promising attack by Adam Smith. The score's Bournemouth 3, Luton 3 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. It's a yellow card for Adam Smith. What a game. Told you to have a good night out down here.
You always give me a good night out, Sam.
Yellow card for Adam Smith. And Chong, actually,
you know what, he goes down.
He goes down. He gets a little whack in the chest as well from Zabarnyi after the event, and that's sort of taken the wind out of his sails a little bit here.
But I have to say, Sam Allison, the referee, I think he's been superb. I really do. You know, quite a lot of times people jump on referees, and it's such a difficult, you know, job to do. But I think he's pretty much made every decision spot on. I wasn't sure there whether actually it would be a question of, you know, was Adam Smith catching Chong in the neck, but he didn't. It was a foul, it was a yellow card, it wasn't a red. But it's an amazing comeback from Bournemouth, that really has. Didn't see Luton going 3-0 up at half-time, didn't see Bournemouth making it 3-3 by the 60 or so minute mark.
Semenya driving it in at the near post after cutting in on his left foot was a really good finish actually for a player who I think has made a really good impact on the club since coming in from Bristol City. Terrific acquisition, his 6th goal for Bournemouth this season.
I think he also learned from that shot he had at 3-1, didn't he, where he went for the far post and just whacked it, and it ended up going over. This time he got it in the near post and made sure he kept it down and on target.
Absolutely, that's it. You said at the time he should have scored a second goal there in quick succession.
You're inside the box, you're on your left foot, the goal's opened up. Yes, hit it as hard as you can, but you go for the inside side netting, giving the keeper no chance, but you make sure you definitely don't get it over. There, with that goal, it's exactly what he's done.
3-3. Free kick to be taken by Alfie Doughty over on the far side. Chong is back on his feet. It's dipped towards the far post, and Morris with a free header. Didn't connect it well enough, and then when it fell to Barkley, he fired it over the top from inside the 6-yard box. Both of them have missed it.
Well, what an opportunity to score. We talked about the set pieces tonight haven't been particularly good. Oh, what an opportunity that was for Morris. He's free. He's absolutely free. and he's missed it with his head, and it's come off his shoulder. And Ross Barkley's coming in at the far post, not quite able to get on the end of it.
Adam Smith is coming off, and on comes Tyler Adams. It means that Lewis Cook, I think, is going to go and play right back. And Tyler Adams, who comes on for a Premier League debut. A ball sent back by Doughty to his goalkeeper, but it was too close to Solanke, and Kaminski just has to hit it into the air. They've been waiting a long time to see Tyler Adams down in these parts. £24 million from Leeds United in the summer. Here is Kabore, right side for Luton on the chase. 72 minutes on the clock. He's played it into Ogbeni, who slipped over and then tried to head it anyway, despite the fact that he was on the floor. Solanke's picked it up halfway, tries to go on the outside of Burke. Burke tries to keep him tight to the touchline. He twists out of the playing service, but it took a nick, and it's a Bournemouth ball away to our left-hand side. Bournemouth 3, Luton Town 3 on Talksport. What a fantastic midweek bit of Premier League action for you on Talksport. Ouattara, infield he goes to dead central area and finds Tavernier. It's collected by Solanke, nabbed from him by Reece Burke, picked up by Barkley. Barkley sends it wide. Ogbeni has it on the near side. Tries to help it on to Kabore, who cuts across Christie. Christie fouls him. It's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, and we're down in the first half down that right-hand side. Luton were dominating, weren't they? Bournemouth have certainly shored that up. Ouattara's not necessarily looked to get forward all the time, but they protected each other as a team collectively, not just a bunch of individuals.
First Premier League appearance for Tyler Adams since March 2023. He's had a hamstring injury. They're going to make another change here, Luton, because they are going to lose Tahith Chong after that collision over on the far side, and he is going to be replaced by Cauley Woodrow, who got that incredibly important equaliser against Crystal Palace on Saturday night and scored his first Premier League goal in a decade in the process.
His only other one was against Palace, wasn't it?
Yep. Ball clipped forward up towards Mpanzu. It's headed away and cleared by Ouattara. Picked up now on the edge of his own box by Luton's Tedam Mengi. And so they've got to try and see this into a little bit more of a comfortable zone, get a bit more control in the game, Luton. Ogbeni trying to take on Ouattara. He's gone out of play on this near side, and it's a Bournemouth throw. Couldn't keep it in.
Some header as well, wasn't it, from Woodrow?
Yeah, really good.
When you think about where he was when he actually headed it, there's not another part of the head that could have put it more in the corner.
Here is Tavernier. Oh, he's beaten Reece Burke, who's stumbling. Mengi comes across. Tavernier goes out into the left wing position, and he felt the stomping feet of Mengi coming out to try and beat him, but he's managed to twist away into the edge of the area. He's turned it into Semenyo, who's twirled out towards the near side. Christie's crossed to the back post, is going to be headed away by Woodrow, and it's out of play and away for another corner.
It's not the worst ball in the world. He aimed it for the far post. Decent header from Woodrow. Not quite as important as the one on Saturday, but in the right place. But very much, again, Bournemouth still applying the pressure.
Rob Edwards is feeling like all those punters who backed El Fabiolo earlier today. 3-0 up at half-time, and now finding themselves in a situation where it's 3-3 with 15 to go on Talksport. Here's the corner in towards the near post. Semenya was getting up there. So was Kabore, who heads it away, and it's back out for another corner, which Tavernier will take on the far side.
I bet he's not feeling like the best-looking Premier League manager either, is he? At the moment. Not more greys in there tonight.
Not at the moment. Ball in towards the near post. Who now gets up, tries to flick it on the edge of the 6-yard box. Comes back to Christie, who strikes it. And it's wide of goal away to our left-hand side. Well, it's been some encounter, and it might not be over yet. 15 minutes to go, and I mentioned the late goals that Luton score. It's a real possibility that they can come back and try and nab a winner, but they've got to get in the opposition's half first, and that's not something that they've been doing very often. At half-time, I thought they were going to keep their first clean sheet in the top flight since West Ham away in August 1991.
Do you know what? Only you, the top professional, concede 3 but still able to get out a stat like that.
Well, you were at Charlton at the time and doing a bit of side modelling for Foster's menswear. John Major was the Prime Minister. He wasn't doing any modelling for Foster's menswear. If he had done, that might have been why it went bust. John, sorry about that. There was a Soviet coup that month. Liz McColgan won the gold at the Athletics World Championship, and Brian Adams was number 1 with Everything I Do, I Do It For You. It was number 1 for ages. I think it's still number 1 now. Here is Tyler Adams on this near side. That was the last time they managed to keep a top flight away clean sheet. It was in the first few weeks of that season in which they would have ultimately be relegated, and it's only this campaign that Luton have come back. They do not want to be relegated again. But 3 points here would have been very tasty.
You do know you're going to be disappointed if you do the next away game for Luton and they do keep a clean sheet.
I've got it out now, I don't care. It's currently Bournemouth 3, Luton 3. And for the latest odds, you can head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Bournemouth to win at 5-4. You can back Luton to win at 5-1. The draw, 21-20. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+. BeGambleAware.org. This is Talksport.
5-1, that's interesting.
Well, they got it right last time, didn't they? And we all raised our eyebrows.
We did. We did.
You get the sense that they probably know what they're doing.
Well, yeah, 3-0 up as well. Yeah, did not see this. But again, Sam, let's bigger picture here. Premier League football.
Great, isn't it?
Isn't it brilliant? Just fantastic. You don't see this in many other places.
It doesn't feel like that if you're Rob Edwards, who is standing there with his hands on his hip, and he does look absolutely forlorn, so frustrated as Barkley picks the ball up down the left side. Clark takes it on, tries to get into the penalty area. Well, Cook made a challenge, but I think he got something on the ball there, and Clark went down, didn't even appeal as he got back to his feet, and it goes into the arms of Neto away to our right hand side.
No, better from Ross Barkley, just a pass, but no, it wasn't enough. Contact, yes, but no, not felt.
Semenya's just taken a glorious ball out of the sky with a wonderful little touch. 12 minutes to go of normal time, and it is Bournemouth 3, Luton 3. A game very much of two halves, as the old cliche used to go. It's been all one-way traffic in the second half. Ouattara weaves his way past Ogbenny, feeds Solanke, edge of the area. It's Unal with the effort, saved down to his right by the goalkeeper Kaminski. It wasn't the best effort from Unal, who scored against Sheffield United at the weekend and has had a couple of good chances since he started to wear the black and cherry red, but this occasion was just a little bit too tepid with the effort and easily saved by Kaminski.
You know what, that's a great chance as well. Ouattara being where he wants to be, attacking, really good play. He lays it into Solanke, who just, perhaps the pass itself wasn't quite enough for Unal to reach and shoot first time with any kind of power, but it's still a really good chance.
Tyler Adams just took a free kick, trying to be cute and get it forward quickly, and then completely messed it up. But then Bournemouth have won the ball back, and they're coming down the left-hand side with Christie trying to feed Unal into the area, pokes it square, away by Mengi, and out on this near side and away for another throw-in. Nervousness now on that Luton bench, excitement all around this ground. They think there's a winner in this for them. Bournemouth. Comeback could be on here. Here is Tyler Adams starting to get on the ball in midfield. Ouattara tried to do a little flick there when it wasn't on, and Ogbenny just pushed him out of play on this near side, and it's away for a throw-in. Back it down the left-hand side into Solanke. Now it's picked up by Tavernier. He fires across centrally, blocked by Osho, and it goes behind and away for another Bournemouth corner.
Incredible. I mean, they really want this win, don't they? And still Luton not able to get hold of the ball, not able, you talked about, to get into Bournemouth's half. They certainly haven't done that, but haven't slowed the game down at all. Fair play to Bournemouth in this second half.
Here is the corner, Cook to take it. It's deep towards the far post, and Solanke was coming in at that far post and trying to rise and try to get something on it, didn't quite manage it, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Luton, are they going to escape here with anything tonight? 3-3 the score.
Do you know what? It's incredible to say that, isn't it? But it's exactly what it is.
They've had 20 goal attempts, Bournemouth, in this match. 8 on target, scored 3 times. I think Luton had 7 and 4. I think all of those, if not most of them, were in the first half.
Yeah, you talked about the shot conversion. They had 3 shots on target, 3 goals in that first half. But since then, 20. How many did they have, Bournemouth, on Saturday? It was 32.
Yeah, 32 shots in the first, in the whole game against Sheffield United. Well, the most, actually, that I think any Premier League club have had in a game this season. 32. They certainly made better weather of it today. Their conversion rate will be up after tonight. Here the ball is sent out towards the left-hand side. Clark didn't reach it. Barkley was passing it. It's just a little bit off radar. Now he's got to track back to try and stop Semenyo, who's coming in on that left foot again and trying to find Solanke, edge of the area. An interception from Clark, good work by him, and it's up towards Morris, who tries to feed him again and then couldn't, and then threatened to squeeze it back out towards Clark, but the hesitation meant he had to go back infield, and again Bournemouth win it back, turn it over and start to move forward once more. Lewis Cook, the momentum certainly with the black and cherry reds, attacking the goal away to our left towards the Steve Fletcher stand in this second half, where they've already put the ball in the net 3 times.
Luton can't keep the ball. Whenever it goes up to Colton Morris, he's got 2 players around him. If he drops off, he's got 2, if not 3. Even when he does hold the ball for a few seconds, there's no one to pass it to. Not getting any help at all. He was just coming back continually. And I can see why Ladbrokes have got those odds the way they are. If there is going to be a winner, it looks like it's only going to come from Bournemouth. But again, that's the beauty of the Premier League.
Here it's Carlton Morris, though, charging towards the edge of the area. Neto comes out of his area and heads the ball away after a long ball from the left full-back area. It's collected by Adams, and he will come forward now. This is Talksport. We're at the Vitality Stadium. A tense night now because it's finally poised here at 3-3 with minutes to go. Ball sent down the right to Semenyo. He gets the return pass into the box and slams it in and finishes it. At half-time they were finished, but now Bournemouth are in front. 4 second half goals, 2 from Semenyo. Another cracker inside the box has turned this game on its head. 3-0 down at half-time, 4-3 up with just 7 minutes remaining. Antoine Semenyo with another belter has made it 4-3 to Bournemouth, and Rob Edwards can't quite believe it.
It's just unbelievable what we are witnessing here. 3-0 down, half-time, food off, they're out of the game. Iriola absolutely livid. You could see him, got his team out early, and they have come at it. Now you have to say Luton have been so poor defensively. I just feel Rob Edwards has got to try and change something. He's made a couple of substitutions, not really worked. The system's not worked. They've looked really vulnerable on the counter in the way that Bournemouth were in the first half. And look, you have to say, Bournemouth, who didn't just settle for 3-3, they wanted the winner. And he's through on goal. It's a simple pass to Unal, who's then played it back to Semenyo, and no one's near him. There's no Luton defender near him, and he's whacked it as hard as he can, giving Kaminsky no chance.
What a goal. What a second half. This is going to go down in Bournemouth folklore.
I think this is one of the best Premier League games I've seen for many a year.
I mean, even by the context of this bonkers season, this has been absolutely intoxicating.
And you know what? It won't get the hype because they're 2 of the smaller teams in the Premier League. But if you look at this and you study it and you see what happened in the first half and you see how it's turned around, this is up there with one of the very greatest games in the Premier League.
Dear oh dear. Well, certainly running with the current theme at half-time, it appeared as if this game was going to end with 3 points for Luton, but Bournemouth have altered the image. It's 4-3 now. Ball clipped forward by Tyler Adams, down in behind Reece Burks. Solanke chasing into the left wing position. And it's skewed out on this near side and away for a throw. Looks like they're going to make a change. Andros Townsend coming off the bench for Luton in the final few moments, but there's only going to be 4 minutes left. Remember, 6 of Luton's last 7 away points have been earned by 6 goals scored in the final 15 minutes of games. There still might be a late twist yet.
And you know what? Psychologically, this could be a massive blow to Luton. It really could. If they end up losing this game, and if they lose against Forest as well, I think they'll look back at this second half and saying that could be... I hate looking over the whole of a season and saying one particular half or one particular game, because it's such a long season. But they are where they are in the position. And for a period of the time, certainly the first half, they were out of the drop zone. They were above the dotted line. They just needed to see that through. And it looks like, or it's not over, that they're not able to do that. And they will go into the game on Saturday very much with a bruised ego, and they've got to quickly turn it around. They've got to quickly turn it around now and just somehow scrape a draw.
Well, Rob Edwards is trying to get his substitute on. I don't know if he wants to bring on Andros Townsend to take this set piece, but he's not going to be able to do it, I don't think. 3 minutes to go before the end of the game. Bournemouth 3, Bournemouth 4, Luton 3 is the scoreline, and we're going into the final few seconds. Nottingham Forest go to Kenilworth Road on Saturday, and that becomes a massive, massive game. It was already massive, but it's going to be even bigger now. Luton have thrown away a 3-goal lead down at the Vitality Stadium. Ball in towards the edge of the box. It's Burke with a header, and it lands on the roof of the net. It was always going to be safe for Neto. Here comes the change. Chidozie Ogbeni coming off, and Townsend coming on. Luke Berry comes on, and Barkley comes off.
Well, as I say, I'm a fan of Ross Barkley, I am, but just when you're wanting your senior players and your best player to grab hold of this game under pressure, he's not been able to do that. So I'll give him the plaudits, but I'll also say I've been disappointed in him tonight.
4-3 to Bournemouth on Talksport with 2 minutes remaining. Luton need a goal. They need it from somewhere. Rob Edwards looks to the sky. He's had every single emotion flow through his body throughout the course of the 90 minutes here. They came here full of sentiment because of what happened during the game back in December. He watched his team go through euphoria in the first half with a terrific performance, and now they feel damaged. They've conceded 4 second-half goals. Here is Kabore down the right-hand side. Well, he's fouled. That was a stupid foul as well by Tavernier on this near side. He's given away a free kick in a dangerous area in Alfie Doughty territory. Right down by the byline, almost like a short hockey corner.
Yeah, he's dived in, hasn't he? And Kabore, to be fair to him, has done well, just shaped across it, got the extra touch, got the contact, gone down. And what an important free kick this could be for Luton Town Football Club.
89 minutes on the clock. Doughty comes over towards this near side. And Luton now conceded 27 goals in their last 8 games. 27 goals in 8 games. I think there might be a little bit of an issue there. And of course they've got problems. Osho and Bell both out at this moment in time. Berry's going to take this free kick. It's right-footed. It's towards the far edge of the penalty area, and it's headed away rather easily by Mepham. Doughty, left side, whips the ball towards the edge of the box. It's forward by Burke, away by Christie, who now is trying to escape. He's held up by Mpanzu. Berry's got it, sends it wide towards the right side. Didn't have enough legs on it to find its way to Townsend. It's sent in behind for Unau to chase. Mpanzu getting there. There was a foul on him. It's going to be a free kick. And we are now 15 seconds away from stoppage time. Off comes Dominic Solanke. On goes Philip Billing for the final few minutes of the game. It's been another impressive day for dynamic Dom, who has his 17th goal of the season. Only Salah, Watkins and Haaland have got more goals in the Premier League this season than him, and his impressive season will continue. And I'm sure he'll be looking tomorrow to see whether or not Gareth Southgate names him in the England squad. 9 minutes of added time.
Love it.
Where on earth has that come from?
I don't care.
Wow. You know what that means, don't you?
3 more goals?
Oh, yeah. More drama. Here we go then. Strap yourselves in. Stoppage time to come. Ball is with Kaminski, away to our left-hand side. Clip forward, high up into Bournemouth territory. Away by Mepham. Across comes Kabore. It's Billing who wins it. It's high into the air by Christie, who now will chase. Burke comes across. Feeds the ball into Mengu's on the edge of his own penalty area, inside his own half of the field. He sends it forward to Corley Woodrow. He wouldn't mind a bit more late drama like he produced at the end of the game at Selhurst Park at the weekend.
They're playing like a 3-2-5 now. They're just trying to put as many people up there as possible. Fair play to Bournemouth. They're actually pressing very well.
Yeah, they've won the ball with Semenyo, and he's given it to Unal. Edge of the area now. They've taken it off Doughty. It's Unal to finish it. And he sends it wide from the edge of the box. Good opportunity.
Yeah, that was an opportunity to really put the game to bed. You know, but Luton look out on their feet now, don't they? They really do.
Semenyo gets the man of the match from the sponsors. I think courtesy of his 2 goals, actually. We've played 2 minutes of this extra period at the end of the 90, and it's still 4-3 to Bournemouth. And he's scratching his head, poor old Rob Edwards, who we'll hear from live before we get to the sports bar tonight at 10 o'clock. You'll be able to have your say on all the action tonight. 03717 223344. Apparently you can now send them WhatsApps on that number, which is good news. Voice notes, all sorts. Elsewhere, Dundee beating Aberdeen by a goal to 0. Ross County 1, Hibernian 2, I think that is. Peterborough 1-0 up against Stevenage. 1-1 Atleti against Inter. Here comes Ryan Christie, sending the ball long and wide out to the left, and Tavernier edge of the area. He's got 3 to aim at in the centre, decides to just hold on to the ball quite sensibly, and then sends it back towards the left, and then Townsend will nab this, and Kabore hasn't really got much room to get out there, plays it against him and goes out on this near side. Dortmund beating PSV by a goal to 0 over on Talksport 2, but it's 2-1 to Dortmund in aggregate terms, and Inter lead on aggregate in the other game. And the draw on Friday during a 10 till 1 slot. A opportunity now for Kaminski to kick long.
Got to get it long. Forget about the passing at the back. Bournemouth are pressing really well. Just get it up there, win the knockdowns. It's a bit old school, but you've got a few minutes to go to grab a point from a game that doesn't look like you're going to now after being 3-0 up.
Ball up towards Corley Woodrow, headed away by Zabani, whose goal was given by the goal decision system, and that sort of changed the nature of proceedings. A massive goal. In fact, there was a controversial sort of look at the sort of Mepham offside for the Solanke goal. Then there was that GDS system that came to Bournemouth's rescue, and then 2 goals which can't be disputed from Antoine Semenyo.
But Solanke's goal, I think, turned the momentum of it.
Absolutely.
We talked about, you know, really important for Bournemouth to start the second half really well. Really important for Luton to keep a clean sheet for the first 5-10 minutes. Didn't happen, and we know what's happened since then. Big moment. We still haven't seen confirmation of it, but those lines must be straight.
Must be. 4 minutes to go, 4 and a bit minutes to go, and it's 4-3. Oh, it's a poor throw in from the far side, and Mengi just hoiks it up into the air. It drops for Christie. Header away by Berry, and he was leading with the arm, I think, there, which is going to result in a free kick given to Bournemouth, and they'll waste a little bit of time here, I think, anyway. And Christie is being helped back to his feet, and the physio has come on.
I certainly hope anyway they didn't use the ruler that I used in my GCSE or O-level for maths, because I don't think that was straight. But a big moment in that game, you have to say.
What?
O-level, yeah. I try to be a bit younger than I am there, saying GCSE. It didn't come out.
Oh dear, you sound like my dad.
I was the last year of the O-levels.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, you just limboed underneath the O-level line, did you? They're going to make a change here, and it looks like Hill's going to come on for the last few moments, and Christie's going to come off. James Hill coming on. And they'll slot into that position over on the right-hand side just for the last few moments, just to try and see this game out. Unal has struck the ball from distance and he's shot it straight at the goalkeeper, Kaminski. I mean, that's literally giving the ball back to Luton, which seems a bit of an odd thing to do. As Jado Katongo scores for Peterborough in the 64th minute. Adrian was right. They're just a minor inconvenience tonight, Stevenage, on the road to greater things. Well, he still thinks they can win the league if they beat Portsmouth.
I know you're saying that. Forgetting about Derby and Bolton.
A long way to go. It's a long way to go in the EFL. We've got it all covered here on Talksport. Here is Roderick Mpanzu trying to send the ball out towards the far side. He needed a better ball, a better delivery. He'd done the hard work, got himself into a good position, then gave it away, and now they've given a free kick away, and they've sent it forward on the halfway line, out towards the right. Semenyo looking for a hat-trick, gets to the edge of the box, cuts infield, stopped by Berry, and it's sent to halfway. Billing gets there before it reaches that distance. 96 minutes and 35 seconds have been played here on Talksport tonight. Thrilling minutes of football, non-stop Premier League action. Here is Zabani, down the right he goes, looking for the run of Unal, and clears away. You talk about the psychology of it. You're concerned about how it will affect Rob Edwards and his team. They haven't got much time to dust themselves down.
No, and we'll only find out on Saturday when they play Forest. If they do lose to Forest, then you have to say the look back at the second half is pivotal.
Away goes Tavernier after robbing Kabore of the ball. He gets to the edge of the area. He feeds Philip Billing. He sends it wide. Unisa now. Oh, somehow Kaminski stuck out a left leg and stopped it from going in after a deflection. It's a brilliant save. Unbelievable, really. The agility to go to his right, see the ball pop up towards his left, and then poke out his toes to stop it from going in.
Just incredible. I don't know how that didn't go in, but you know, when Bournemouth are attacking, they look like they can open up Luton, and when Luton are trying to attack or knock the ball long, Bournemouth look like they've got 4 or 5 more players than Luton. Now Luton have just gone here physically and mentally.
Also, the structure of the team has gone, hasn't it?
It's gone. It's gone. Look, you can understand it now.
Yeah, it's desperation stakes.
Yeah, but you know, that's the first 15 minutes of that second half. That's what's decided this game.
Absolutely. Goals after 50, 63, 65, turn the tide. And then the winner in the 83rd minute from Semenyo. Or is it the winner? Because they've won a free kick in the 99th minute of this game. And it's going to be taken by you-know-who, Alfie Doughty. Carlton Morris will lurk with intent. You know that Bournemouth have had their problems with set pieces this season so far. They're a little shaky from them. There are only a handful of teams in the league that have conceded more from corners and free kicks than Bournemouth. Can Luton make it count in the final few minutes of this game here? In the final seconds of this game? 99 on the clock, 4-3 Bournemouth. Alfie Doughty places the ball down. He's 20 yards inside Bournemouth territory, wide on the left. They're all up from the back. It's aimed in towards the far post. He's overhit it. Going to be caught by Neto. And Luton have been caught by Bournemouth.
Oh my goodness. He's got a wand of a left foot. But it's deserted him there. Just again, talked about set pieces. First half, Bournemouth rubbish. Second half, Luton have been rubbish as well. And just when you want to try and create some havoc, they've not been able to do, and they've given the ball away.
Ball smashed upfield, high into the night sky. It'll drop down here for Semenyo. Then back towards Dango Ouattara, who hoiks it out to the far side. Picked up by Doughty. He looks up, wants to get it forward quickly. It's not going to reach Woodrow. It's going to be kicked out on the far touchline. The Bournemouth fans want the whistle. They were 3-0 down at half-time. They conjured a comeback which was fashioned in the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes of this second half. And then they got the winner with 7 minutes of normal time to play. They've endured nearly 10 minutes of added time. Carlton Morris heads the ball into the air. It's picked up by Clark on the far side. He sends it out towards the right. Andros Townsend takes it down. He's faced up by Semenyo. Produces a cross into the box. It's underneath Neto, who'll claim it. And that is the end of a Premier League classic that deserves top billing. The Luton's supporters can't believe their eyes. The Luton players drop to the floor, exhausted and shocked. They were 3-0 up at half-time. But it's Bournemouth who get their first Premier League home win since Boxing Day and push Luton closer to the edge. The Hatters may have seen this as a chance to escape the bottom three. At half-time, it was almost certain they would. They scored through Chong Ogbenny and Barkley before the break, which looked like giving them all 3 points, but a second half turnaround has given Bournemouth all 3 points in dramatic circumstances, and Bournemouth going to the international break knowing they already have secured survival. Luton go into that home game with Nottingham Forest on Saturday in desperate need of points and a change in fortune. They crumbled in that second half, and they can't afford for it to happen again. It's finished remarkably on the south coast. Bournemouth 4, Luton 3.
Wow, a sensational game of football. Football's so brilliant. Another sensational Premier League game, live and exclusive on Talksport. The Hatters fans opposite us just can't believe what's happened. They're applauding their players, and maybe rightly so, for a brilliant first half where Luton found themselves out of the bottom three as they went into the dressing room at half-time. Right now they are in the bottom three because somehow they've thrown away a 3-goal lead. Rob Edwards is over there in front of the fans, shaking his head because he cannot believe what his team have done tonight. That's aged him this evening, there's no doubt about that. But smiles all around for Bournemouth as the party starts. They were booed off at half-time, and right now it's like a rave in the vitality. And Antoine Semenyo, the man of the match, couple of goals. Listen, to come back to 3-3 was brilliant, but to win it 4-3 was the cherry on the icing on the cake. And finally, Bournemouth win a home game in 2024. Scott Minto, what a game of football that was. That's stunning. That's what the Premier League is all about.
Yeah, first of all, Aid, I know you've been to a few raves in your time, so you know what it's like. I mean, this is, and I said it earlier, and I make no apologies for it, because these aren't one or two big boys up against each other. It may not have the billing of one of the greatest Premier League games we've seen, and of course, it's not the or whatever, but it's one of, and there's been a lot down the years. But 3-0 up, Luton in full control. Bournemouth fans booing their team off, and rightly so, they were so poor. And yet Areola sent them out 5 minutes early, made a couple of substitutions. I saw pictures of him. You could see he was absolutely livid. He would have tore into them. It's not very kind of new school to do that, but he would have done that. They knew exactly what they needed to do. And that first goal, early on in the second half, was absolutely crucial for Bournemouth coming back. And they got it. We wondered whether it was offside or not. Clearly it wasn't. The second goal going just over the line. And do you know what? Luton, they didn't know what to do. I feel for them in a way because they have got defensive injuries. It wasn't as if we talked about how well Hashioka played in the first half. It wasn't necessarily just him, but the whole back three, the whole midfield were being overrun in that second half. And again, psychologically, and we can talk about Luton in a sec, but when you're 3-0 down at half-time, at home, Aid, let me tell you, it's very difficult to go out there and produce that type of performance. In fact, I've just seen that just the third team to win a Premier League match, losing 3+ goals at half-time after United against Spurs and Wolves against Leicester. That's incredible. Just the third team to do that in the Premier League. Yeah. We have just witnessed an amazing story here.
Absolutely, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to bring it to you live on Talksport. Of course, this game wasn't on telly tonight, and we brought it to you exclusively on Talksport. There'll be reaction to come during this show as well from Rob Edwards, the Luton manager, and Andoni Iraola, the Bournemouth manager as well, and just how he turned that around. And Rob Edwards will tell us just how Luton capitulated in that second half as well. Right now on Talksport 2, by the way, it is Borussia Dortmund who are leading in the Champions League. They are 1-0 up on the night against PSV, 2-0 up on the night against PSV, and therefore 3-1 up on aggregate. Jadon Sancho has scored one. He's done some magical things as well in the game. That's live on Talksport 2 right now. Just tell your smart speaker to play Talksport 2, or very quickly download the Talksport app for free. It's easy to use. You can swipe between all of our stations, including Talksport and Talksport 2. Just watching the Luton players, they've all trudged off now, but some of them for this, you were talking about the psychological damage it could do in commentary, and I think just looking at the way they have their heads held to the floor, shoulders are down. Carlton Morris had to put his arm around one of his teammates, Hachioka it was actually, who had his bib on, he'd been subbed, and he's feeling distraught after what you said was a brilliant first half, but then second half he was taken off, and that's going to affect him on his first start. But a lot of the players, it wasn't just him, Issa Kabore, it was staring at the ground. There were loads of them doing that. I think that quite a number of those Luton players will be in that dressing room right now. They won't be able to believe what has happened to them, to compute it, and what a huge job Rob Edwards has got right now between this game and that huge game on Saturday at Kenilworth Road against Nottingham Forest. I'll be there for Talksport on Game Day Live. What a massive job the manager's got now.
Look, hey, there are 10 games to go between now and the end of the season, so things can still turn around. But I talked about how important these two games are. Bournemouth away, Forest at home. And in the first half, Luton were outside the drop zone. They were above the dotted line. And if they were able to see that out and get a result against Forest, not just in terms of points-wise in the table, but also the belief that they would have, that they would be able to get over it and do the business and almost get points in the bag, because they've got Spurs away, Arsenal away, then Bournemouth, then Man City away. They're not going to pick up many points there. So for them to lose this game and for being 3-0 up, I think Saturday's game is absolutely pivotal. I try not to be too sort of, sensational, but I think if they are to lose the game against Forest on Saturday, that's them done.
Wow.
I don't see them coming back with the games they've got remaining and actually staying up. So I think between now and Saturday is absolutely crucial. Look, lick your wounds tonight, be gutted, be disappointed what's happened, but when you wake up in the morning, you have to somehow put it to one side and then move on. Because if they don't, they will still be scarred by tonight going into that Forest game. Look, if they win that Forest game, they're still right in it. But I think where now, if they'd have won tonight, a draw wouldn't have been a bad result Saturday. Now they have to win.
By the way, that Dortmund second goal was disallowed by VAR, so it's still 1-0 to Dortmund. They're 2-1 up on aggregate. That's live on Talksport 2 right now. And let's just put this into perspective, because a lot of people talk about the never say die of Luton Town. There were a late equaliser at Palace, and there were Luton fans tweeting, this team never knows when it's beaten, they never give up. And there's a lot to admire about that side of things for Luton, but there's another side to Luton which could see them go down. 1 up in the 94th minute against Liverpool, they drew 1-1. 4-2 up at Newcastle, drew 4-4. 3-2 up against Arsenal, lost 4-3. 2-2 with Villa on 89, they lose it 3-2. 3 up against Bournemouth here, they lose it 4-3. Listen, we know they haven't got the personnel in there to challenge in the even mid-table in the Premier League, but those missed chances are valuable points that are going to cost them.
No, absolutely. And look, let's be realistic about this. From the start of the season, I personally, along with many others, thought they and Sheffield United had no chance, and it was Burnley who would, out the three, would have the greatest chance of surviving. The fact that they are that one team from the promoted sides from last season from the Championship gives them great credit, but that's not good enough if they end up just going down again. You go down, you go down. And although having said that, if you go down, sort of record few points, then that can spill over to the following season. What happens from now to the end of the season, even if they do go down, is really important that they give it a fight, that they take it to the very end. We still don't know what's going to happen with point deductions with Everton and Forest, and that could go on beyond the end of the season, which I hope doesn't. I hope it's decided by that final game. I hope it's decided before then, in terms of what we know what's going to happen with points deduction, and it's all decided on the pitch. But the bottom line is it's so important for Luton now to somehow, I don't know how they're going to do it, I really don't, because they're not going to sleep tonight. And I think Rob has got to get them in tomorrow, but almost get them in the afternoon and realise that they ain't getting to sleep till 4 o'clock in the morning, if at all. And they're going to be tired. But they need to warm down. They need to do the right things, not just mentally, but physically. They need to be up for this Forest game. Look, I'm sure they will be. But that's a big blow, that, Aid. It really is. And the amount of points you've just come out with that they've dropped, well, we knew that could happen, but that could be the reason why they end up going down.
Let's have a look defensively as well at Luton Town. They've conceded 4 tonight, conceded 3 against Villa, 6 against Man City in the Cup, 4 at Liverpool. And listen, Liverpool, Man City, you can say, well, that can happen. It doesn't happen to everybody. But they conceded 6 to City, 4 to Liverpool. They've conceded 3 against Sheffield United. They got a draw, but they conceded 4 against Newcastle United. And since that 4-0 win against Brighton at the end of January, I was at Kenilworth Road for that game. They were sensational that night. They haven't won a game. And I thought that would fill them with the confidence they would need to pick up enough wins, enough results to keep them out of the bottom 3 and to keep them up. I was really full of optimism for Luton that night. Defensively, they've got a big problem. Now, opponents have talked about how they're man-to-man and that allows space for strikers who are a bit cute, bit clever to get in and score goals. That really is the biggest problem for Luton. If they are to have a chance of staying up, they've got to get over the psychological impact of this, but they've also got to tighten up at the back.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, but how do you explain that, though, Aid? How do you explain what you saw tonight, where they were so good defensively in the first half and so poor defensively in the second? And conversely with Bournemouth as well, so poor in the first half, but so good in the second. That is what the Premier League is about. But that's where you want your big players. And we talked about the back 3. I don't blame any of the back 3 or the goalkeeper for them losing this game. I think it's down to that midfield. You know, and again, I was waxing lyrical about Ross Barkley. Well, this is a game where you needed him to step up and control the game and wrestle back that sort of tempo. No, I'm going to make sure that we play it how we want. It's 3-1 or it's 3-2, but I'm going to get hold of this game now, and I'm going to make sure that they're not going to be able to attack. In the end, the back 3 were just always on the back foot, and you know, very difficult to do that. And you have to say, Semenyo was superb, but conceding that early goal in the second half, I think, just completely changed the complexion of things. The whole atmosphere of the ground changed. But yeah, defensively, and look, you know, Amari Bell, he's out possibly for the rest of the season. Osho is a big one as well. We talked about Hashioka playing in there, and he was a little bit out of position. Didn't look uncomfortable at all in the first half. But if you want to change things, you need to be able to make those changes off the bench. And I think defensively, the fact that Alfie Doughty ended up being one of the centre-backs, I think, says it all. So I do feel for Rob, I really do. But again, it is what it is. You've got to somehow find a way to deal with it, and they weren't able to tonight.
Yeah, let's add to that injury list at the back, because Lockyer, of course, you
Absolutely.
know, a big figure here tonight.
Yes.
Not just a club captain, but a leader on the pitch and, a leader of men. He's obviously been out since December and isn't going to come back as well. That's a big miss. The record signing, Jacob Brown, has been out as well. The top scorer, Elijah Adbayo, has been out as well. So yes, everybody's had injuries, and I know that's a little bit of a cliche, but these are injuries to key players. And at centre-back, they've had injuries, and a lot of them in a key position as well. And it's just about coming through and showing for them tonight that it's too much to cope with.
And to a small club as well. You know, look, don't get me wrong, if Manchester City or Liverpool, you know, have their key players out, then they're not quite as strong, but they've still got very good players to come in. If Luton Town have some of their key players out, then they don't quite have the same depth in the squad. So it's very difficult. You know, Luton Town fans should still be proud of their team, that they're still fighting, they're still in there. But it just feels like a real massive blow tonight. It feels like, you know, again, I think over a whole season, it's not one game that defines you staying up or going down, but this is as close to it as it goes if they end up losing to Forest as well, because they had it in absolute under control in that first half. 3-0 up at half-time. See it out. 2-0 they say is a difficult scoreline. Well, give me 2-0 any day of the week. You know, I'll be quite happy with that. But 3-0, there's no way you should even draw that game. And the fact they didn't even come away with a point, we will have to wait and see how they react on Saturday. And if they lose that game, as I say, I think they'll look back at this week and say, that was the week where it went wrong.
If you're a Bournemouth fan in your car wondering why we're not talking about you winning the game, we will be very shortly. Don't worry about that, because that is some comeback tonight. It's a privilege to be here to witness it on Talksport. Peterborough go 3 up against Stevenage. Kwame Poku with the thirds.
I knew you'd mention that.
Listen, there's still time for Stevenage to come back there. Remember what we've just seen in front of us. I'm not counting any chickens.
That's true.
It's a Steve Evans side. I'm not saying we've won it yet. It is time now.